Alrighty, folks. Hello. Welcome to Championship Sunday 2025 National Open here live from the Flamingo Hotel and Resort and Casino. We are watching the penultimate round here. We got the standings up. 3 players on 5.5 points out of 7 leading the tournament. A bunch of players half a point behind with 5 points. 2 rounds to go. We're going to be seeing some big results today. Final Sunday of this tournament, always actually very exciting. There are usually some draws, but also some decisive games too, as the players fight for many thousands of dollars of prize money. Hello folks, how's everyone doing? We got Jake, Pizza Racer, Dragon in the chat. Dragon actually with some very useful facts for me. A couple players close of norms. Alexei Bilic for Grandmaster norm. Yeah, we've been seeing him on the top boards the whole tournament. Isaac Wang just needs a draw against Zhao to clinch an IM norm. Okay, easier said than done. Zhao's kind of a beast. And Gabriela Antova needs 1.5 out of 2 today for an IM norm. Yeah, she had a fantastic win yesterday against Ilya Nizhnik, who is my favorite, but unfortunately he's such a nice guy. Sometimes he gives points away in the tournament and does so with a smile. So I'm going to be rooting for him to bounce back. And yeah, it'd be cool to get some norms. These kind of tournaments always have like a bunch of norms. And yeah, the juniors have completely overtaken chess. It's become an epidemic. And yeah, they've been scalping games left and right. So, folks, we have a bunch of games going on right now. This is board 1 here between Viktor Matveshin, who has been leading pretty much the whole tournament, and Grandmaster Armen Mikaelian, who I think is a couple years older, and also having a good event. He won both of these games yesterday. Actually, he's won 3 in a row, including one against GM Guy Magami in the last round. That was a nice squeezing game. So in this one, he goes back to his trusty accelerated dragon. Hello, Skevix. I'm actually here live in Vegas from the tournament. Not far from the playing hall, something like, I don't know, 1,000 meters. I can't tell distance inside the casino. But we're here live on site. C4. So, white going for the Marazzi bind against black's accelerated dragon, and the players get a pretty theoretical line. Black takes on d4 to bring white's queen in before white has a chance to play bishop e3 and take back with the bishop. And one day this queen will have to go back because it's going to be lined up against bishop on g7. So bishop e3 castles, and now white drops back, queen d3 now that the bishop is protected, and black has all kind of discovered attack possibilities. So queen d3, everything logical so far. A5. Also useful move. Black starts carving out some space on the queen side. Castles. A4. And now white plays bishop d4, bishop d7, and b4 is on the board. Okay, b4. So Victor here is already taking space. And he is really kind of forcing black to take on passant, because if black doesn't take on b3 here, then his a-pawn will be kind of a long-term target. White will go a3 himself and just enjoy a very comfortable structure. So black kind of has to take on b3 and leave white with a pawn that black can target. But Armen's taking some time here because maybe this move took him by surprise and he just wants to make sure that taking on b3 is the right move. But I think it's like 90% chance he takes on b3 here, just to give his pieces some more squares. But then, of course, you want to have your follow-up ready after that. After a takes b3, a takes b3. Have I added Vigivano Champion to my business card yet? No, I have not. Thank you for asking. Okay, let's see another game. So this one, I guess no quick draw here, unless it was offered with b4, and Armin is now now thinking about it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this how this develops. Now there's a couple players on 5.5. So if these two guys make a quick draw, that leaves the other 5.5 to potentially overtake them, or for other players to catch up. So the player with the white pieces here definitely feels some pressure, I think, to try to push for a win, because it's very possibly his last white of the tournament. Whereas the player with black, I think generally is going to be comfortable with the draw, because next round they get white, they can try to push for a win and yeah, maximize their result. Game 2 here. We have the other 5.5, Bilal Bellassine, Grandmaster from Algeria, current African champion. And this, already we can tell, is a position he's trying to win against his opponent. It's like some kind of open Sicilian, trendy line, very sharp stuff. Dude he's playing is playing for a norm, so extra pressure on Bilic here, who goes for Najdorf Sicilian. Okay, Najdorf very complicated, so basically he's asking for a big fight. Bishop g5, Bilal gives it to him. e6, Queen f3. Okay, so here white has many options. I think f4 is the classic move. Queen f3 is also a possibility here. h6, bishop drops back to e3. And now black goes e5. So yeah, they're just in an opening scuffle here. Kind of theory battle. e5 is generally a strange move to play after e6. But the main thing is that black needs to have a response to knight f5. And here I'm guessing it would have been g6, where the knight can't go back to e3 and has to go back to kind of weird square. I'm not sure. But yeah, some kind of opening thing. Knight b3, white goes back, bishop b7, h3. And now we do get kind of a normal Najdorf structure. b4 played. So king b1, b4. And black is actually playing faster than white so far, so he seems to be more familiar with the line than Bilal, who, yeah, likely prepared it also. So, okay, this one's going to be a big fight here on b4. I guess white has a couple options. Knight d5, knight a4. Though I would expect knight d5 here. Because on knight a4, black could play knight d7 and cover the b6 square, and then the knight on a4 is kind of a target. Some future knight c5. Is that queen f3 a bit inaccurate? No, I don't think so. I think it's definitely a playable move. I mean, these days in the opening, it's not like there's clear best moves defined. Like against the Najdorf, people are trying all kinds of stuff. So it's really just a matter of what you want to try for one game or two games. It's possible it's like first time Bilal's playing this variation, so he just prepared it as a surprise weapon, or maybe he has gone for it, played other stuff. But I think many players today play multiple things against the Najdorf, because it's like it's very hard to kind of get something without surprising your opponent, right? Because you want to take your opponent to a position where they haven't studied it with the engine, so where they don't know exactly what to do. That's when people tend to start making mistakes. So in the opening, you're trying to navigate to a position where you can outplay your opponent, right? Where once you leave book, you can start leading them to a place where they make mistakes, and then that's how we win chess games. But black so far doesn't seem phased at all by what white's doing. Knight d5, he gives up the knight and just drops back bishop c8, leaving the d7 square open for his own knight. maybe to come out to f6, possibly to b6 or c5, and then bishop can still decide b7, a6, maybe even d7 one day once the knight kind of frees up that square. So black taking some liberties in the opening, but position is closed, and white isn't really in a position yet to do anything. So, okay, interesting game. I think we'll definitely watch this one. Board 3. The veterans, actually, and the two of the previous U.S. senior champions, Vladimir Kapyan and Melik Sakachin. These guys have played many games against each other, and Vladimir is the current U.S. senior champion. Melik was the U.S. senior champion before him. So both of these guys extremely experienced and capable of winning big games. So Vladimir goes for something he's been playing a lot these days. It's kind of double fianchetto setup. Melik plays a Grunfeld approach, which he also has a ton of experience in. And okay, bishop takes f3. He just gives the bishop without being asked, without waiting for h3. Just takes e6, knight d7, and now he's taken on c4. Wow. So Melik gave up the bishop pair and then just immediately started to initiate some play. His last move takes on c4, gives a question to white's d3 square. And Vladimir here, I think, is trying to understand what's going on. Because if he takes with something other than the d-pawn, then his d-pawn will be hanging. So I think he's wondering whether he needs to take with the d-pawn here, or maybe he has some other move like d4 or bishop a3. Yeah, I would be very curious about d4 here myself. So yeah, white's got a lot to think about now. Because black cannot take on b3. We get queen takes c5. And where's the knight going? Maybe knight d3. Trying to take the bishop. But again, white doesn't have to take on c4 just yet because the knight on d3 hangs. So maybe white goes bishop a3. This looks very suspicious for black, I gotta say. B takes c4, and the knight is cooked, as the kids are saying, I believe. You guys can confirm in the chat, cooked. So DC, it's a bit of a... It's a very risky move. And Melik might have just overlooked d4. I mean, it's Sunday morning, you know, it's early. People are in Vegas. He might have just thought, okay, DC, and then queen d3, chop, chop. Bishop moves, black gets rook d8. Somewhere he'll move the knight, trade the bishop pair off, and no problems. But looks nice for white, right? d4. And the fact that Vladimir is thinking means he's going to see d4. He's got too much experience not to see this. Or maybe he'll come up with like a fourth move that we like, bishop a3, that we haven't even considered yet. Bishop a3 also possible. Because if white plays d4 and then let's say, so knight d3, I think bishop a3 is just bad for black. So knight would probably have to go back to d7. Then white can take here with a very nice center bishop pair and clear advantage. Clear advantage. Big advantage, I would say. Like perfect dream position to get as white playing one knight f3. But bishop a3 might be even stronger. Because here white is like trying to win the exchange. So I guess queen a5 looks like an only move. Maybe there's something else, but otherwise d4 was coming. So queen a5, and I'm not seeing... Oh, wait, knight takes c4. Hold on. So bishop a3, how's black saving material here? This looks like a big chance. Yeah, I don't know. Knight d7. Like, let's try this. I would go d4, threatening to take and win 2 pieces for the rook. Takes on b3. Pawn takes b3. And I don't think it's enough for black. I don't think it's going to be enough here. Okay, bishop c6, knight b4. Yeah, not the easiest position for white to win, but big advantage here as well with the extra exchange. You could give the exchange back and you're better, but I think you would just go rook a4 here, try to play for some sacrifices, some doubling up. Should be better for white. So he's choosing between 2 very good options, d4 and bishop a3. I kind of think he's going to go d4. I don't know. Bishop a3 also looks pretty juicy. Okay, we'll see. Board 4, Grandmaster Jin Zhao, also very clearly playing for a win against FM Isaac Wang, who's on the younger side, playing for a norm. Let's see what happened here. This looks like another Sicilian Najdorf Sunday, h3 variation. Okay, e5, knight e2, h5, g3. So this h5 move is basically just stopping white from playing g4, which is kind of an annoying setup, g4, knight g3. So h5, white goes g3 anyway, bishop g2, knight d5, takes, rook a7, rook b7, queen d3. So yeah, white plays this kind of like obnoxious knight d5 thing, attacking the rook, bishop e3, forcing the rook over, but whether it's so dangerous is not always so clear. Now brings the knight to c3 and d5, knight f6, bishop g5, bishop e6, take, castles, bishop e7. And yeah, we have like classic Sicilian structure here where we've gotten the d5 square for white, but black has the 2 bishops. In general, you can play knight d5 here as long as you can take back with a piece and keep control over the square. You don't really want to take back with the pawn if you can avoid it. But I would say that black should be doing okay here. Although it's, yeah, very, very dynamic position. Like, I think both sides will make mistakes here. But black has clear play as well, queen a5, to try and attack on the queen side. Then the pawn pushes to b4. Then we take on a2. And yeah, it's a problem. So interesting position. And both players, I mean, playing relatively quickly to get here. I mean, a lot of these moves are theory. Like this knight d5, queen d5 idea is certainly known. Rook a7, putting the rook somewhere. Black has figured out like it's okay to do this. It's not that bad. Eventually the pieces get out. And both sides playing very logically, like knight d7, knight f6, bishop g5 to trade off, like classic kind of exchange here for white. Castles, and now bishop e7 just defending the pawn. Okay, we'll see. Grandmaster Zhao, very strong player, but Isaac is also having a good tournament, so it will be interesting to see how this plays out. I do think black is okay, because I don't think white's setup is not that dangerous. We've already had a couple pieces traded. Bishop on g2 is not considered to be super well placed. So white is typically playing for more like positional squeeze here with knight to d5. But with the king on c1, of course, black is always going to have certain counterplay. Okay, so we'll see. Let's check out board 5. And then we'll check in on our streamers. So here we have two grandmasters, Gabriel Flom against Robbie Kevlashvili. And they are also on 5 out of 7. And we have a Queen's Gambit declined. Early Bishop e6, which is one of these lines. I think it's like less well known. E3, c6, Bishop d3, Knight d7. Though this one has become like really popular, and usually, yeah, black is going for the bishop pair with this one, and claiming that the bishop pair is worth the weaknesses on the king side. And of course, white is saying vice versa. So we'll see who wins this ideological battle today, the bishop junkies or the structure guys. Personally, I often sympathize more with the structure guys versus the bishop. Like I like a good bishop pair as anybody, but I don't want to compromise my structure too bad. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's just kind of easier to play with the knights. Just you got your squares, you put them on the squares, life is good. So this one is yeah, interesting version. I mean, my guess is that it's probably kind of balanced based on what I've seen in these positions. White's next move might be g3, just to kind of control some squares, eventually put the knight on f5. Eventually castle queenside, I think, is going to be most likely. But yeah, it's a really, really dynamic position. So, okay. Yeah, I think both players are going to be probably spending a lot of time here. We'll see. Black's play, I feel like, is not too complicated. You can put the king on b8 at some point, just to sooner rather than later, to get out of any ideas on the c file. The bishop can come to e7 to target the knight, or d6, where it's just a little bit better placed. Rook probably going to g8. And yeah, black has this weakness they have to tend to, basically. Knight comes to f5. I don't know. Again, I sympathize more with white's position. I feel like it's more obvious where the pieces are going. But okay, we'll see. All right, let's check in with our streamers. We've got 4 streamers today, as usual. Dina is playing American IM, Alexander Katz, who is definitely a very strong player. I think both of them are on 4.5 out of 7. Let's see what happened in this game. So knight f3, d5, g3. Knight f6, so classic kind of fianchetto setup, e6, and c4. So white's playing something like a Catalan, now ready style, with b3, bishop e7, bishop b2, and b5 from Dina. So this is the first move that's like definitely a bit unusual. White goes d3, which I think would have been my reaction as well, just keeping the tension. Because of course white's bishop on g2 like loves to see b5. It's like, oh yes, please take this pawn off the diagonal. But a5. Black's plan is to kind of just clear everything off of the diagonal so the bishop doesn't really attack anything. But the bishop still is quite powerful. You know, it seems like, you know, it's very low level commentary, but black is making a lot of pawn moves, and white is developing their pieces very fluidly here. So objectively it might be okay for black, but from a practical level it might be kind of difficult to play this. But a4, things do get kind of concrete here, and black is wanting to just trade everything off and and leave white without any weaknesses to attack. And now Alex Katz is thinking. So we'll see what how he deals with this one. Kind of a wild position. I mean, just looking at it, this is like a pretty pretty unusual case. You normally don't have this many pawns that can take each other. And from White's point of view, I don't think you're really wanting to take anything here. For example, like if you take on b5, let's say Black recaptures, and then the bishop on g2 is now just kind of biting on this pawn chain. So you could still play e4 to kind of open things up, but then again, a lot of pawns are getting traded off, and it's not clear where White's advantage is going to be. Taking on a4, I think is also possible, but then Rook takes a4. Let's say we take this one, Black takes like this again, and yeah, to me, Black's structure feels very, very healthy. Like the b pawn is just not easy to attack here. So I have a feeling White is just going to make some kind of building move. Maybe queen c2, which invites a3. And White will have to figure out where to put the bishop, which is not so clear. Maybe rook ab1, which deals with a3, because then the bishop can park on a1 nicely, but of course allows ab3, and then Black's rook has the open a file. So Black here gets a bit of a line. Does Black have a threat? Yeah, I think a3 is kind of an annoying move to deal with. So for example, queen c2, a3. Anywhere we move the bishop, we're getting hit with the pawns. We don't really want that, because we want to, I don't know, kind of keep the tension more. And then bishop e5 gets hit with knight bd7, where I'm not sure we really would really like to give up this dark squared bishop. It's kind of a nice piece. So on a3, if we go bishop c1, this is possible. I don't hate this. Yeah, here I'm not sure what the follow-up would be from Black. Yeah, difficult position. Difficult position. But Black has a lot of moves, it would seem like. Bishop b7, knight d7, knight a6. So I'm not sure White really wants to. Yeah, I don't think White wants to put the bishop back on c1. So it's a tough question for White, like what to do. Okay, he goes rook c1. So he says go ahead and take. Maybe he takes with the queen. But on ab3, he would be go ahead and rook a2. And maybe White's saying he's going to go rook c2 here and then queen b1 and argue that Black's rook is going to have to just be protected more than anything. This is kind of a, I would say, pretty harmonious setup for White. Queen to b1 and then rook f c1. And all the pieces feel like they're reasonably placed for this position. Yeah, at some point White would like to play knight e5 for sure. This is a nice move just to put pressure on c6 and make it harder for Black to develop. Also open up the bishop, also get e4 in, so definitely a move. But maybe on a takes b3, he wants to take with the queen, because this is also possible. And you just keep more lines open. So takey. And then Black's c pawn is definitely, I think, weaker than White's a pawn, which has a lot of support. a4, a5, And white's pieces just look much nicer. Rook fd1, because black made a bunch of pawn moves, and then all the pawns got traded. So those pawn moves have been lost to the ether. But I think Dina should take on b3, because I don't really see a reason not to anymore. You force white to choose and you open up the file. But okay, on ab3 you do need an answer to queen b3. And make sure that you're not but I don't think queen b3 is so scary. I think black can play knight a6 and kind of sacrifice this pawn. Maybe even here first, actually. And the a pawn here is kind of hard to defend. Yeah, Joe Bruin is playing the tournament as well. He's not streaming, but he's there. So he's probably checking out the streamer games. So yeah, I think AB3 is all right. Okay, so I think Dina's doing okay. We'll see how her time usage goes in this game. That's been, I think, an issue for a lot of players. Let's check out Kevin Skull. You guys might know him. He's the host of the Chess Journeys podcast, Tales of Adult Improvement. He's been kind of struggling, but having fun, enjoying his games. Hopefully he gets a win here. And his opponent plays the famous Jobava London, jumps in with the knight on e5, c5. These lines have become very popular. We've been seeing a lot of these on the streamer boards. And okay, we had some action here. Knight bishop d3, knight b5, knight takes d7, knight went back to d4, and he just takes this one. He goes bishop b5, trying to trade off the light squared bishops. White goes bishop g5. Yeah, fair enough. Kevin just playing simple chess, looking to trade off white's bishop pair. White goes bishop g5, saying, okay, we can trade, but then I get queen takes d3. If you go h6, I'm going to go bishop h4. So you're not getting rid of this pin without weakening your structure one way or the other. Dina went for a3. Interesting. So takes is on the board. And yeah, this one's kind of annoying for black because it's hard to break this pin. Although white isn't really able to do that much. Like queen f3 and then taking on f6 is not a threat, because if black can go into that endgame, then the doubled f pawns are not a big deal at all. So what white needs to do is like somehow get his rook over to f3, then take on f6, and that would be dangerous. But yeah, in the meantime, how does black untangle here? It's not so easy. So this one, I'm not sure this was really the best approach for black. Maybe should have possibly played h6. Hard to say. But queen a5 check, c3. Oh, Kevin figured it out. Oh, bravo. Queen a5 check. He unpins with tempo, and now he can move the knight. He can go knight e4, maybe knight d7, and he kind of solves his problems. He could consider queen b5 as well. I think black would be okay, but basically would just be kind of playing for a draw there. So knight e4. Yeah, more dynamic. Now white can play bishop f4 to cover the d6 square, but if black needs to, he can return to f6. So there's not much danger to his knight. He can try for queen b5, and he's all right. Okay. So solid game for black. Let's see Emily. And what's happened here? Okay, Emily also going for Jobava London. Bishop e2, castles. Takes c4. Solid so far. c3, e4, e5. Rook e1. And this game, we've gotten a lot of tension in the center. Not sure if I would have done the same. Maybe I would have played c4 here to try and trade off the potential weakness. c3 and e4 is all right. e5, rook e1, and now black is thinking here. So one possibility would be to take everything and try to come out with bishop g4, and yeah, this seems like this could kind of liquidate quickly. h3 takes, bishop takes. I guess rook e1, queen takes d4. Black would have an extra pawn, but maybe white has some compensation with the bishop. The bishop g4, maybe d5 is better. 95 h3, and yeah, feels like a lot can get traded off here. Although this one actually I don't like. Don't like for white. Then we get this. So hold on. Let's do this better. Let's go queen b3. Just defend. And yeah, seems like things are kind of trading off in the center. If Tata wins, can she get a norm? I have no idea, actually. I'm not really sure about her pairings, but I mean, she already has all of her IM norms, so she's actually more just playing for rating. But let's check in with Tony. Tony playing black. He's got accelerated dragon. And fighting middle game, his opponent is trying to Marazzi him. Let's see, castles, a6. a6 I think is a bit slow here. I'm going to play it 14 times. A lot of times I think black just starts trading pieces and tries to bring the bishop to c6, knight to d7. And black is trying to trade because they have less space. And so this just frees up more room for the pieces. So a6 is a kind of useful move, but allows white to keep pieces on the board with knight c2. And now black is kind of slowly running out of room. So king h7, knight to d5, knight e5, b3. Now black could trade here, but then white gets to kind of take more space in the center, and so you always have to be careful when you're trading that you're not giving your opponent a good version of things. I'm not totally sure what's happening here. This position is tough. My first instinct would be to trade on d5 and see if I can make that work, because then my pieces would have more chance to find good squares. So yeah, here's the problem. So for example, if black takes on d5, white takes this way, black goes bishop d7. Maybe white can go h3 and threatening f4. And that's an issue black has to solve. And that's not so easy. That's not so easy. So it's difficult for black. F5 maybe, but F5 is quite weakening. Knight comes to D4 and starts looking at the E6 square. Yeah, I would probably take on F5 and then go Knight D4. Then F4 and no, it's not looking good. Like, we just make a couple moves and oh boy. Oh boy. Not bueno, guys, not bueno. So that's just our first try, okay? So don't hold it. It's not touch move. Analysis is not touch move, okay? Second idea would be to trade the bishop on D5 so that the knights could kind of hop around. But then we lost our light squared bishop, so one day this might cause us to pay a price as black. So I'm not sure. This might be reasonable, but then again, it's hard to see what black is doing, like where black even moves from here. Right? Like what's our next move? I don't see one. I don't see one. Like I don't see a useful move. So this is tough. This is like a lack of space. Yeah, maybe knight back to D7. And just kind of staying flexible. So difficult position for black. And maybe he's fine, but the moves are not so easy to find. Yeah, tough one for Tony. He's gonna have to think here and try to figure it out, because this is not easy. But yeah, I guess my best guess is bishop takes, and then knight just back to D7, and then just try not to blunder anything, because like every move, like queen D7 runs into H3 and then F4, and the knight is again caught. Although F4, knight E4, maybe there's something there. Queen E1, maybe there's something there, but you'd have to figure it out. E6 I don't really like, because takes, and both pawns are weak. Knight D4, rook F D1. So yeah, B5 weakens the C6 square. Rook C7 runs into bishop B6. So it's like, this is the only move I can see with no obvious drawbacks, but doesn't look like a super fun position for black. But okay, we'll root for Tony. Let's see. Oh, we have Gabriela Antova's game, which was wild. King's Gambit. Okay. Very interesting. Haven't seen one of these in ages. King's Gambit. Amazing. Okay, so wow. Knight F3. G5, classic line, holding onto the pawn. White immediately tries to break it up. G4. Knight jumps. Knight jumps out. White wins back a pawn, but loses E4. D3, knight G3. Bishop takes F4, offering the rook sacrifice. Because this is the classic trick, I think. Queen E2 check. Bishop E7, knight F6 check. Bishop H6. And if queen E7, we have check, and bishop takes C7. I think this was a Morphy game. I don't quite remember. So bishop takes f4, queen check first though, bishop e2, and now rook to g8. So there's probably some reason knight takes h1 is not good. Antova goes rook g8, bishop takes here, rook takes knight, bishop f2, rook takes pawn, knight c3, bishop h6, knight d5, queen e5, c4. And this is the live position. Wow, white's still playing pretty fast, so clearly this is either something that was prepared or white has a lot of experience in, tons and tons of blitz games. Yeah, wow. Fun line. I don't remember anything about this one. But Antova's already been spending lots of time, so clearly, yeah, this one took her by surprise. And what's happening here? Black is up a pawn, but the position is weird. I mean, black is up a pawn and not ahead in development, but black is developed here kind of nicely. And white's not castling anytime soon because of the bishop on h6. So to me, it looks like the position's in black's favor. It's just kind of weird. It's very concrete still because white has a threat maybe to play d4 and harass the queen. So maybe black wants to play knight a6 and cover c7 as quickly as possible. c6 would be the move you kind of want to play to kick white's knight, but yeah, then d4, white can be very annoying here. And I don't know, maybe queen d6. Very tricky position to figure out. So yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Maybe I'd go knight a6, try to cover c7. Okay, people are asking about Tadev's game, and she's playing the I am from Slovakia, Kostolansky. They had a French, bishop g5, d takes e4. In this variation, yeah, so many funky variations today. Takes gf6. So black keeps the bishop here, but weakens the structure. And okay, develops knight c6, bishop g2, e5, knight b4, knight c3, c6. Tadev seemingly very well prepared here, up like 30 minutes on the clock. And white has just taken c6, and now she's considering her options here, whether to recapture on c6 immediately or trade queens first. Yeah, another unusual position. I would think just taking back on c6 feels more correct, because trading on d1, rook takes d1. Maybe she's thinking about just taking the pawn with check and then coming back with the knight. So king d2, knight b4. Takes, and then rook comes to d8. Yeah, I don't see why this would be so bad for black. But you can also just take on c6 and be safe here. But queen takes d1, much more ambitious choice. Take, bishop takes. And yeah, it's hard to develop white's second rook. It's kind of awkward. If a3, then the knight can just drop back. Then on knight d5, black would probably have a lot of moves here. Maybe bishop d8 is the simplest. Maybe rook c8. So it looks like black has some reasonable options here. Knight c6 played. Okay, so she decides just play it solid. I think makes sense. Now if white wants to trade on d8, black can take either with the knight or with the bishop, bring the bishop around this way. Probably better to do this. Bishop on c8 can develop, so to me it seems like actually a very reasonable endgame. Alright, let's check in with the top boards. Okay, board 1, we had another accelerated dragon. b4, black took en passant, a b3, queen c7, f4, bishop c6, b4. Wow. So white pushing on both sides of the board. And yeah, I feel like black needs to find something here because it kind of looks nice for white. We're wanting just to go b5 and just take more space, knight d5. So this is starting to feel a little bit unpleasant for black. So Armin's going to have to come up with something here. One idea would be e5. Do a little haya. But black doesn't have to take. Go bishop e3. And then if takes, d pawn is really a problem. Really big problem. b5 first. Maybe as well. But bishop e3, black also doesn't have to take. So black could just play rook d8 and the tension intensifies. Not sure if I like e5. Let's see, what else? So knight d7 is a thematic move, but here you can't play it because of b5, trapping the bishop. So yeah, black has to just kind of stay put here. Maybe b6. It's not really a move you typically want to play, but you might need to just have some squares. So some questions for Armin to solve. Board 2 was a big battle raging. We had this Najdorf. Now a5, g4 played. Knight d7, knight d2, a4, knight e4. Bishop a6, take, h4.
I don't know if there's any other place where I could interview.
Oh, one sec, folks. Alrighty, folks. Sorry about that. We are back. Had some technical things to figure out. Yeah, this position is well, still very complicated. And yeah, is going to require a lot of calculation, I feel, from both players in decision making. Black needs to figure out when to castle, how to break on the queen side. White has to figure out how to break on the king side. Very hard to evaluate. My feeling is that, like, it seems like black is okay, but it's, yeah, going to be really, really tricky to play. So I think all three results possible here. Let me just check in with board 3. This is the question we had for Vladimir earlier. How is he going to deal with this? So he played d4. We had 2 good options here for him, d4 and bishop a3. He went d4, which I had guessed. I had a feeling he was going to go for this. Okay, Melik goes c3. Queen takes c3. Knight drops back to d7. So c3 actually very sensible move, so as not to give white an extra pawn with b takes c4 after he recaptures. So c3, queen takes. But anyways, white has a nice center, pair of bishops. Definitely nice position. Knight d5, queen drops back to d2, knight b6, a4. He says if you take, by all means, then I recapture, I improve my pawns, and I have a very nice game. So a4, a6 played, bishop a3, and looking good for white. Looking good for white. He's got space. He's got the bishop pair. Somewhere can go a5 and just take the b6 square, and then black has to either cede space or take on c4. And yeah, Vladimir definitely cooking on this one. He's gonna try to squeeze Melik on the board. Here, let me hold on. I gotta ask these guys to get out of here. All right, they're pros here. They're just like having a conversation, just like right there. So yeah, I'm liking this for white. I mean, but it's still solid. Melik's gonna go rook e8, bishop f8, challenge the bishop. So Vladimir gonna have to work hard to break through, but very good opportunity for him to try to get a win and actually try to win the tournament, because he's only half a point behind. He had some wild games yesterday. He was down a full rook against Ted Wang, and then he managed to win a game against Gus Huston, young I am, just in a very chaotic style. But now he's playing one of the veterans, so we'll see if he can make something happen here. Okay, we have a request to take a look at some of Canada's players, Yang and Khaledi. Let me find them here. So yeah, we have Omid Khaledi. He's having a very good tournament. We saw a couple of his games already. And he is white against Gabriel Bick, international master from the US. Also a young guy. I'm actually not sure what the age difference here is between the two players. I think they're both in their maybe early 20s. And we have Cambridge Springs opening. Queen a5, knight d2, bishop b4. Knight d2 is a move to kind of deal with the queen on a5. So here it's going to be like a big battle for the center. Black takes on c4, hoping for knight c4. Queen takes g5. Game over. White takes on f6. Alert as always. Knight takes f6, knight c4. And now we get a classic position. Black has the bishop pair but less space, and the white is going to try to use this to put pressure on his opponent. So so far Omid is doing all right here. I like these positions for white. He's putting pressure on the c file. He's got knight b5 ideas, and black has some questions to figure out, like bishop b7, knight b5 already, and queen is attacked. Where's the queen to go? Queen c8, knight takes c6, and white is just winning a very healthy pawn. So black under some pressure here. He can't make his most obvious move, bishop to b7. What is he supposed to do after knight e5? c5, I guess, would be the other critical move, and likely he's calculating this. But then knight b5 anyway. Maybe queen b8, knight c6. And the minimum, white can win back the bishop pair and then start taking on c5, and white is doing well. And queen d8, knight c6 here too. Uh-oh. This looks like an uh-oh for black. Knight e5. Maybe bishop d7. But then let's say knight b5 again. Queen b7. Take on d7. And take on c6. Rook c8. Okay, so this actually doesn't work for white. That's bad luck. Or does it? King d2. Knight d7. No, it kind of does work for white, actually. How is queen d6? Let's see. So knight e5. So there's queen d6 here. Yeah, maybe. Black is losing some time, so I would try knight e4. Probably have to take. Bishop takes. And it looks like we're just taking on c6. I don't know, bishop b7. There's going to be some pins. So the pins are kind of annoying. If white doesn't take on c6, I think white still has a kind of pleasant game, but it's not like nothing major, I think. So big question is if white can just take on c6. This one is hard to make work. Rook c8, if I take here, queen takes. Queen is hanging, rook on c1 is hanging, bishop is hanging. So this, I think white is losing this one. Just losing material. And then if we go b5, queen takes a3. At least black gets their pawn back, but feels like a very nice square on c6 for white. It's problematic, exactly. So queen d6. Might be the best try, but yeah, Gabriel. Again, some questions have to be answered here. He goes c5. Okay. But c5. Oh, we forgot to look at knight b5, queen b7. All right, that's what he wants, I think. Yeah, because he's hitting g2. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So c5 on the board. But white has other moves, not just knight b5. He can also go knight e4. And what's happening here? Knight e4, bishop e4, rook b8, knight c6. And no, knight e4, bishop b7, black should play. I'm not sure. I mean, generally white isn't like really supposed to be so crushing out of the opening. So unless black did something wrong, maybe this g6 is kind of a slow move. I don't know. White isn't really supposed to be breaking through so quickly. So it's kind of tough to say. But knight e4, like bishop b7, even, seems to be okay for black. So maybe white is a bit underdeveloped here. Okay, and we had another Canadian player. Somewhere. Who was the other Canadian player? I guess we have one here. But on this board, we're definitely... we were definitely rooting for Kevin, but he lost his knight. What happened? Oh no. Oh, he just totally blundered here. Oh, and he was talking about this happening. Sometimes he has these like hallucinations, and this is a classic one, huh? Oh, bummer. Yeah, and he's just down a piece. But I feel like his issues were, I guess, already starting. So e5, f3, and then just a straight blunder. Oh, board 52. Oh yeah, that won't be. I don't think that'll be a live board then. So Kevin unfortunately lost. Looks like Emily won. Go Emily. She got him with the bishop h7. Wow. Wow. So that escalated quickly. Dang. So rook e1, b5, takes. Yeah, unfortunate, but it happens. It happens, but yeah, fortunate for Emily. Definitely needed that one. Okay, so that's one for the streamers. Kevin, unfortunately, is going to drop his game. How's Dina doing? Dina had this very complicated game, I would say. Bishop b7. Takes, knight f3. So white finally decides the structure. Earlier we were thinking about like how white is supposed to handle this. So finally takes on b5, brings the other knight around. Knight d7. To me, Dina's position looks rather solid. Like she's just fighting for the e5 square. Bishop is coming to f6. She can play b4 somewhere. And it's not clear how white is going to crack black's position here. So Dina looking all right. We'll see how white tries to continue. Maybe knight takes, knight e5, get that tempo. Black goes queen d6, tries to play bishop f6 next. And yeah, bishop on g2 isn't so impressive against this pawn chain. Whoops. And black has a lot of squares for the pieces, but we'll see. Will be complicated. Let's see Tony. Tony had a difficult position. I wasn't a fan of Tony's position because he had this situation where all of his pieces are fighting over the same squares, and it's tough. White just has so much more space and can push on the king side, push on the queen side, h3, f4, b4. So Yeah, looking like a nice position for white. And black here doesn't have anything to do, so he just kind of maneuvers around without really improving the position and just hoping that white will create some targets for him. But yeah, really unpleasant, I think, for black. So as white, I feel like you really don't need to rush. Like king h1 is a nice thing to get in, just to make sure the king is not on this diagonal for any future checks. You don't know when that will affect you, but you know at some point later down the road it'll come up, so might as well improve the king. h3 is another move white can play here. Just kind of improving the king side, taking control over the g4 square, and then allowing for the opportunity later to go f4 at the right moment. So very delicate move, but very, very useful. For example, h3. If black comes back with the knight, then you go f4, and you're like, okay, I'll get this move for free. Thank you very much. And then bishop can come to f3, bishop can come to d3. Eventually, white tries to break through with f5, and it starts to get very dicey for black. So, yeah, tough position. Tony's gonna need to come up with some magic, some straight up magic. We're in Vegas. Hopefully, he's been inspired by some of the magicians around, because he's gonna need it to find. He's gonna need to find some counterplay out of a hat. You know, let's put it that way. h3. I don't know what he's doing. a5 maybe. a5, a4. Just trying for something. f5 is always a possibility, but it's often very weakening. You run into knight f4 attacks. Knight comes to d4. Bishop can come to d3. So tough. But white needs to make a move. He's spending time, so he's trying to figure out what to do. So it's also not easy for white. You have a lot of good options here, but you have to pick one, and it's not clear which one is the best. And yeah, you know you have a good position, so trying not to spoil it. Okay, we'll be rooting for Tony there. Oh, then we had the King's Gambit. This was this was a wild game. c6 and d4. Queen d6, knight c3, queen f4, bishop f3, rook g6, and white is slowly trying to untangle here their pawn down position. But black also, I mean, it's not very obvious at all how to complete black's development. So this position strikes me as very complicated. That said, white's not castling anytime soon. There's a rook e6 check in the position. Like every time I look at the position, it looks tricky for black, and then it looks really, really bad for white, actually. So black, of course, wants to go d6 soon. Bishop comes out. Knight comes out. Maybe knight a6, knight b4. If black can castle queenside, they're doing great. If either side can castle queenside, they're doing great. But we'll see who's faster. I think that's why I'm so confused about this position, because white has already developed everything but cannot castle because black controls this critical diagonal, and black is just undeveloped on the queen side. And so I'm wondering, like, who's actually gonna get the king castled first? Very, very hard to say. Can white play d5? White could play d5, but I'm not sure what it gives white exactly. Of course, black can take the pawn on c4, but I feel like we've taken enough pawns. I would try to maybe just try to develop here, like knight a6, just start getting the pieces out. If you take on c6, I'll take with the d pawn, and then get the bishop out next as well. So yeah, it's not clear how much of a threat rook e6 is. It's annoying. White will have to put the king on f1, but white does have pieces around the king, so it's not like white is just getting mated here. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, White has a lot of time, but Gabriela has already shown that she can win even with low time. She's still a very experienced player, and yeah, already defeated multiple strong players in this tournament. So she's gonna be gunning for White's king here. That's right. We do no engine commentary on this channel, mainly because we think it's more fun and interesting. Because the engine is just like it. I don't know. It tells the wrong story. It tells you like what it thinks, but yeah, neither player is aware of the engine eval, and so if you actually want to get into what the players are thinking, I think it helps to watch it without the engine, because then you have a more unbiased view, basically. So yeah, glad you're into it. Welcome to the correct side of the aisle. Let's see some of our top games again. So board 1, this one has been a slow maneuvering battle. B4, White has played twice in this game. First here, then here. B6, Queen E3, and White is putting pressure. Black is having to maneuver around. Knight D7 would be kind of the obvious move here. And it's not always clear which side this favors White, trading the dark squared bishops, but Black would definitely have to make sure that it's not a problem. Yeah. Yeah, Elvin, I think, I don't know, very tricky position. If White trades queens, though, then maybe at some point Black is able to use their extra pawn. So to me, it seems like Black is doing quite well there, but it's a king's gambit, so you never know. Oh, hello. You want to join?
I'm here.
Come on in. Folks, we have a guest coming in. Won their game. Very nice, we saw.
Oh yes, it was. I got lucky, but we'll take it.
Make sure you're in the frame. Great. Folks, this is Emily Plays Chess, one of the streamers here in Vegas. Won her game today very nicely at the end with this beautiful tactic.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best move, but I tried to be tricky, unfortunately.
Wait, which one? This one wasn't the
Well,
best?
no, well that was, but I'm assuming. But when I took on E5, I think the best was actually Bishop E4, technically, but
yeah, I don't know. This move won you the game.
it did. I mean, I'm happy I played it, but I think he had some, I don't know, actually, defenses possibly. Well, he did.
Yeah, probably just getting the queen out of the way somehow.
Yeah.
Queen C5 or something. But
yeah, exactly.
There was a nice trick. You spent 14 minutes on this one?
Yeah, I was trying to see if I had like a Greek gift possibly, like before this one. Yeah, like but it didn't work because he had Bishop F5.
Right. Yeah, let me show that, actually. People always blunder like this. They think they have a Greek gift, they give the mate.
Yeah.
And then Bishop comes to F5.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, I think I could have possibly won the piece back with the discovery on the bishop maybe, but no, because then I'd still be down material, yeah. So I don't know. I was just trying to like think through if I could make that beneficial at all. But then I saw that, there's a potential discover on the queen, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was otherwise pretty uneventful game.
Very nice. No, I thought it was interesting. We were looking at it a bit. Let's see. So you played your usual Jabava London.
Yes. Boring. No.
No.
Slightly less boring than the traditional London system, but
I think interesting. Bishop E2. Maybe Bishop D3 you could play as well. I'm not
yeah, sure. I just, I don't know. I was just trying to be a little more, because I, just like the potential fork on E4. I know that's like a ways out, but I was trying to minimize the amount of.
Oh, I see.
Like after they castle. I mean, it's a ways down the road, so. Yeah, I did actually spend some time trying to figure out what I wanted to do there. But yeah, I just figured that was a little safer.
Yeah, I think this is okay. Maybe
taking on E4, I think here.
Maybe taking is better. Yeah, not to end up
sure.
with the weakness and then putting the knight somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either one maybe.
Yeah, yeah, as soon as I castled, I regretted not taking the knight, because I think he had something that was going to be annoying here with like if his knight was still on E4. I don't remember exactly.
Well, yeah, these pawns are like kind of a pain to defend.
They are, yeah, but I figured I could use that as like a way to open up the center and stuff.
But you do always get C4, so
yeah, true.
Yeah, basically you're in time. And that's what I was thinking here actually. On castles, maybe just go C4 again.
I actually, yeah, I was thinking about that, but then I figured after, like if he were to take on D5, for instance, and then I take back with the bishop, then he has B5, and it just seems like I felt like maybe there's something better there, because then I'm moving the bishop yet again.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, I don't think you're wrong. Yeah, I think black is probably okay there because they're getting the pieces out. But you're also fine. Like you have one more center pawn, and all your pieces can find good squares. Like queen can come out, rook can come out. So probably close to
I
equal.
also saw that then after C4 he had like knight B4, which is just, I guess it's fine, but
this one I think we have a tactic.
Oh really? Oh really?
I think.
I mean, I guess we just move the bishop at this point, but and then like play A3 or something. It's fine, right?
Well, just because the knight is hanging, and we always have this possibility. And then this one.
Oh, okay.
And then pawn up.
Yeah. But I also, like, since I already traded off my dark squared bishops, which I don't know if that was the best move, actually. I spent a while, I think, thinking of that. But I figured that was, at that point, his best piece. And mine was, like, he had like, G5 ideas, possibly. I mean, that obviously has its drawbacks, as I've learned through this tournament, playing it myself. But, oh, actually, no, that's what I was worried about with knight. That was, because now it doesn't work, but that's actually what I was worried about when he had the knight on, E4. Was G5.
Oh, G5.
Yeah. And then that's when I regretted not taking the knight. But
yeah, actually, this can be very annoying.
Yeah.
Like you go back just like H5, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, I've seen how this all plays out. My king side's getting kind of messed up. So when he took actually on C3, I was kind of relieved that that's not the direction he went.
Yeah, these positions are tricky. You got to be careful with the castle.
I know.
It's funny.
I know. But this time I just tried to, I don't know, like just play solid and safe. But then I realized that was a possibility. But here, yeah. I don't know if taking was the best move, but yeah, I figured that was his best piece at the moment. And my bishop was okay. But if he took, I already had the double pawns on the C file. And like usually I think that's okay because then we're just like reinforcing the E5 square. But I just figured like the pawn, just too many weaknesses possibly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is okay. Maybe this is fine too. Just because.
Oh yeah, okay.
We get something like this, and yeah, like you said, you get this like nice E file. But I don't think there's anything wrong with taking here because I think it's pretty much the same. Like you're gonna have a slightly better bishop, possibly a better center as well, and then it's like I would say a small advantage in a lot of these cases.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely liked e4, and then e5 things get crazy. I like rook e1. We call this like just keeping the tension, so you're not taking until it's like maybe advantageous, and then
Yeah, and then that's all.
beautiful.
Quick game, yeah.
So how many points are you on now?
2.5. So.
2.5. Okay, even score. Or no, 2.5 out of 6.
Yeah, no.
Okay, they didn't
yeah.
count one of your games here. All right, so if you win the next one, then you're back to even.
Yeah, so that's
Nice.
tough. We'll do what we can, but
Nice.
yeah, cool.
Alrighty, well,
Well,
all
thank
you rest.
Yeah,
Best of luck.
Thanks. Good luck with the stream.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, folks, that was Emily Plays Chess. Follow her on Twitch, YouTube. She's a rising adult improver. And yeah, actually, it's very tough, I feel like, for all the streamers to play the tournament because you're playing like on camera, in front of everyone. It's a lot of pressure. You win a game, you lose a game, everybody sees it. So it's nice to get a W. Speaking of, let's check on our other streamers. Dina, I thought was doing all right. Queen d2, f6. Dina goes f6. Bishop h3. Where's Ben Feingold? Ben Feingold upset in the halls. Bishop h3. Bishop c5. Knight d4. And white's got a threat, but black, of course, has many ways to deal with this one. So this is going to be a very tactical situation, I think soon, because white can only move their pieces around so much. At some point, he's going to have to break with something. Maybe he'll keep, I don't know, doubling up. Rook c2, rook fc1. Black should play rook fe8 or rook a8 at this point. And yeah, I think black's position is still solid, but it's a little loose. There is some pressure against c5, against b5. There's stuff that's tender. So we'll see. We'll see how this one progresses. Kevin was down a piece, so I'm just gonna assume, yeah, that his opponent isn't gonna mess it up. He's still fighting though. And Tony was getting squeezed. Rook d1, knight c6, king h1. His opponent spending a lot of time actually, but finding the right kind of moves, king h1. But he spent way too long on that move to play king h1. That was a 20-minute thing. Yeah, king h1 is not a 20-minute move. King h1 is like a 2-minute move. So it's the right strategy, but spending way too much time to get there. And now Tony has to figure out what to do, how to proceed. Maybe h4, h3, maybe just continue maneuvering around with the knights. Tough position for black because it's like really, this is the Marazzi bind, folks. This is the Marazzi bind in the flesh. Geza Marazzi, he was a sick person. He just get his opponents in this and just squeeze him. Okay, board 1 was also Marazzi bind. Time control in the tournament is 90 plus 30. So there's no second time control. So this is kind of the new classical. Okay, queen e3, knight d7. This is the game Montvision against Mikhailian, two of the more solid young GMs in the tournament. Knight d5 played, forcing the trade. Takes on g7 and takes d5. So Montvision finally taking some big choices here and allowing a number of trades. And I would say that white has kept a small edge here. And this is definitely something that black is just going to have to keep patiently defending, because white wants to go queen to d4. Give a little check, and then kind of build up. Rook ae1, bishop d3, f5, king h1, rook e3, rook fe1. And black has a clear weakness on the e file. So this one is still, I think a pleasant edge for white, I would say. Board 2. Okay, board 2 has continued to stay very messy. Both sides here just kind of playing the position. Okay, rook c1, queen b7, knight g3, a3, b3, knight f6. Now black is attacking the d pawn. White played this rook c1 move, said somewhere he could defend the c pawn, but also maybe break with c3 and actually fight his own way on the queen side. But right now black is attacking this one, so I think rook hd1 here is asking to be played. But then black also has rook a5 going after the d pawn. So very, very very dynamic stuff here. Other moves white has, maybe knight f5. Knight f5, knight takes g7 ideas. Hard to say. Knight f5, definitely a key move as well. But okay, just thinking out loud, knight f5, I take here. Take here. We get this endgame where I feel like black would be quite comfortable. Get the knight to c3. Oh, and then d5, defending h6 from the side. Oh, baby. Yeah, once you see this, then you're like, yes. But then once you see this, then you're like, no. Takes, check. Takes here. Yeah, I don't know. It's double-edged. There's two edges to this, at least. Does black not want a castle? So that's one of the trickiest parts. Like at some point, black does want a castle. Not so much for the king safety, because the king is safe on 8, but just to get the rook out. Just to get like rook c8 in, for example. But the moment that black castles, like let's say black castled here, they're getting hit. Knight f5, g5. It's like a very fast attack. So black has to time it really carefully. And so the longer black delays castling, the longer it's kind of harder for white to play moves, because they don't want to overcommit on the king side. If they break through too early, black can trade off the rooks, and there's less pieces for white to use. But knight f6 right now, Bilal is thinking. This is the current champion of Africa, so very accomplished player, grandmaster from Algeria, and he's very strong. But he's going up against Ayhan Bilic, who is having a great tournament so far, so in really good shape. Basically playing at GM level. Okay, board 3. Oh, this was the veteran battle, and here it looks like an exchange has been sacrificed. Vladimir Kapyan, the top seed, had a really nice position here. Whoops. Let's go back. So he gets knight d6, e4. Black goes rook d7, because at this point white is just taking too much space. It's just so unpleasant. If the knight comes back to c7, knight takes b7. White is winning the exchange anyway. So rook d7 takes. And now white is just up the exchange. Black has some squares, but white's got a pawn, a rook and a pawn for it. So black is still in the game here, because His pieces have good squares. His position is very solid, but it definitely feels like a technical win for white. But it will require some decent technique. But great chance for Vladimir here to pick up a win and possibly get into tie for first. Okay, let's see. Board 4. We have the former Chinese Grandmaster Zhao Jinchao, now representing U.S. He's got in this opposite color bishop middle game, huh? Against Isaac Wang. Rook c4, queen e2. Looks like pieces were traded. And officially, I think white is a little bit better here, but hard to say if he has a real advantage here or not. Did Bassem play in the last African Championship? I don't know. I don't know. Hello, hello. All right, folks, got another guest coming on. Welcome back, Kevin, of the Chess Journeys podcast. Kevin, you had some fans in the audience. People are happy to see you play.
So they weren't watching my game? Okay, that's good.
I mean, maybe a little bit. It might have come up.
Kostya, I think coming in here is just, that's the reason I've been losing.
Yeah.
That must be it. Can't be that I keep making mistakes.
It's bad luck. Bad luck.
Okay, so before we go on, what do you do when you're having like the worst tournament you've ever had? Like, what's your strategy?
Yeah. Well, I have had this happen to me.
Okay.
And it's really tough. Usually I try to think about the future, like future tournaments I'm going to play.
Okay.
I try to find things to be grateful for. That helps. Some gratitude practice.
Okay, nice.
Usually outside of chess.
Do you go to your room and like punch yourself a lot or no?
I mean, a little bit, a little like verbal abuse here and there.
Okay.
But
okay. I do feel like I have takeaways of like what to improve on. So that's good. That part's good.
Yeah.
Okay. I felt like it was weird. Like he was really attacking me a lot, and then I sort of survived it.
Yeah, we were watching a bit.
And then I made a horrible blunder.
Right. Well, it happens. Blunders happen.
Yeah.
I think when a lot of them happen, then you do have to kind of reflect on like is it a blunder where like you see it as soon as you let go of the piece?
Yeah, that one wasn't as soon as I let go of the piece. It was like when he took with confidence. I was like,
yeah.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Like he didn't really. He just like calculated and then very confidently slammed it down. I was like, I think I missed something. I must have missed something. Like unless he has false confidence going on here.
So
yeah.
I got to work on the concrete side a bit and get that confidence back.
So I used to try to solve all of my problems with like tactical high wire acts, and I usually fell. And I stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this time I was like, no, this one's the time. And it's not even like it's an amazing answer if it works. Is it caught up to that spot where I make my horrible blunder?
Oh yeah. We saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, game has continued for a while, but
I was considering.
You're doing fine. Yeah.
Like I thought this was a really good move to kind of like crack open the center with his king stuck in the center. Not stuck in the center, but then if it castles, I should be in glorious shape as I can get a fork there. So the other move I was looking at is instead of hanging a piece, which admittedly is not a great move, what about taking the bishop? It just seemed so scary. I was like, I don't know. I was gonna follow up with e4, and originally I thought that was super strong, and then I realized like, oh, okay, he just doesn't have to. He can just move the queen and knock it. Like, because like the dream scenario is, can I
yes.
take? Oh,
No, you're okay. You're okay. It does that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I thought I ruined everything. Okay, so Okay, maybe this isn't gonna work.
Sorry.
I was gonna do knight takes bishop.
Go ahead.
Are we sure? This is a very sensitive mouse you have. And then, okay, and then takes here, and then here,
Right.
and then here, and this is the dream. Here's the dream. There's the dream, right?
Yes.
And then we win the queen.
Yes.
I figured he wouldn't go for that line though.
Which rook would you use?
Wow, that matters. Okay, it really matters.
No, it's just
Okay.
stylistic question.
Stylistic question. Probably the A rook.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I'd go F. Just path of least resistance. There's just like less chance for a mouse slip.
Wow. Okay, that's good.
No, either is fine. Of course.
Yeah. Okay. But
yeah,
he's not
ignores,
going to do that. But yeah, I figured he might just move back, and then now my pawn's weak. The king is still kind of fine, and now after castle's long, now he's on the H pawn, and I thought this line wasn't going to be good. Was this a better choice, or was just like a third option was better?
I mean, this looks okay.
Well, it's better than hanging a piece.
Yeah, like maybe because it's still pretty concrete, I would say. So it's hard to judge off the bat. But maybe I would go here. If castles, we have queen f4 check. Queen takes g5.
That's nice.
If we take this pawn, then we can defend. But it's always risky with the open H file, so I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to take.
Solve it with my genius move, which is a really good move if the F pawn when it took was still there.
But I guess what I didn't really get with this one is like, where's the knight going if white? Let's say your trick did work.
It was going to H5.
Okay.
So it wasn't that great. It wasn't really that great of a move. And that's the problem with it, right? Is like I was like, it feels a little dangerous, but I've worked it out. But even if it works, it doesn't really do anything. It's like, why go for it? That's what I'm trying to convince myself not to do those kind of moves.
Yeah, I guess there is a sense of like, trying to find the right positional move, even at the cost of material in some cases. Like I would really want to play knight d6 if I could, because I feel like my knight wants to be in the center, wants to be on c4.
I was definitely considering that.
But of course it's hard because you allow DE, and then the question is, can you get something here? Like maybe rook e8, maybe knight c4. And it's not easy. I don't think it's been an easy position. I'm not sure about e5 just because it's like
okay.
Just because after f3 it's like it's a really difficult question to answer.
Yeah, maybe just drop back to d6 here.
Right.
Which is what I was going to do until I discovered my amazing plan of e5 and then dropping the knight on g3 and all the madness.
Yeah, because your advantage here is that white's bishop is potentially a bad piece. In the middle game, it's quite strong, I would say. But if you get a knight versus bishop endgame, then you can kind of grind that out.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, I think I was even thinking about this here.
Okay, once again, the trading of the queens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that does really limit the attack. If he does take, then I'm threatening to take off the bishop if I want.
Yeah, here I would say you have a very comfortable endgame.
And I'm just pushing the b pawn, right?
Yeah, you're trying to go b4. Okay, white maybe goes a3 to stop you, but it's very hard for white to get to this pawn, and so you have a lot of squares. One day your king maybe even tries to infiltrate.
Yeah, so you would say we don't trade the knight for the bishop because pawns are all in the light squares. They can't get them. The rooks can't get them.
I feel like the
knight
knight's
has lots of jumps.
Decent piece here. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And then we'd also be giving them the open H file, so it's like not.
Yeah, exactly.
Not what I want to do. But yeah, I think in the other game you're also hesitant to play queen b5.
Interesting. In that game I consider it. This game, not even for a moment did I consider that. I'm not quite sure why.
Interesting.
I think it's because I saw a bunch of cool stuff here, And I was like, okay, worst case, I jump back to d6 and then maybe to c5, and this knight is rocking. And then I came up with my plan.
Kevin, maybe I'll make a suggestion.
Yes, please.
Um,
We're going all the way back to here.
Against e4, what are you playing?
I've been playing the Caro-Kann for a long time now.
Right.
I was thinking about switching to the Con Sicilian, but that's, I guess, another...
Yeah, maybe. Have you seen that famous Tull clip where he's like,
Yeah, I have.
against Fischer, he goes C6 and then maybe
Switch it
this
one more.
one.
Switch it one more.
Because it seems like you want dynamics in your game,
Interesting.
and then you're much more likely to get them with this move.
Okay, I think here's what I've been liking about the Caro-Kann.
Yeah.
Is that the pawn structure is so amazing that I can go for dynamic play, and when it fails, then I just get to go back to my awesome pawn structure. But maybe it's time to take off the training wheels of having that backup plan and just go all in.
Yeah, because this is like really like a patient opening. It requires you to like trade pieces, go for the end game.
That's how I view myself. But you're not seeing that when you're seeing my games there?
No, it seems like every game you're wanting to attack and play dynamically.
Interesting. Okay. That's very
So I think you would have. I think you would have more fun at the very, the very least. And there's lots of Sicilians you could try.
I have been tiring a bit of the Caro-Kann, which has been fine. But there's just some lines where I'm like, okay, this feels like I'm playing for a draw from very early in the game, and I don't really enjoy that style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What Sicilian, seeing my games today, would you recommend for me?
I would say Accelerated Dragon is not bad.
I don't like the sack mate.
Yes.
I hate getting mated like that.
So this is good for that, because this is like, it makes it harder for white to play for that plan.
Oh, okay. I thought that's how all dragons ended.
So
I've read Fischer.
That would be the normal dragon with d6. Okay. But the Accelerated Dragon, the drawback with this one is that white can get a Marazzi. And I don't know if you saw Tony's position, but he's been suffering. Yeah, h3.
Oh,
yeah. He's getting. So this is. So you either get this or you get sack mated. That's your choice in the dragon.
See, I love the name of the opening, but so I used to play the Najdorf when I was in my early 20s.
Oh.
But theory was a little bit lighter then, right? You could just kind of like know a bunch of stuff.
There you go.
I'm not sure I have the courage to play the Najdorf these days. White can play like anything on move 6. I'm not ready for that.
But the reason that white is playing so many moves on move 6 is because they have no idea what to do anymore. That's why they're just good? Choosing moves at random at this point. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Because black has multiple solutions against all of the majors. It's like black dealer's choice at this point.
That's very interesting.
No, Najdorf's cool if you have played it before, so you'll even have some familiarity with the structures. I mean, it's I say the hardest thing about the Najdorf is that there's like so many different structures and so many different ideas. So it is a very dynamic opening, but it's very double-edged, and I think black often has a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I found the main reason I switched away from the Najdorf is you spend all this time working on Najdorf plans, and then they play the Alpen, or they play the Close Sicilian, and you're like, okay, what are we doing here? I'm ready for a battle, and now you're going to play this?
Yeah, you got to be ready there too.
Okay.
But at least it's an equal battle, so you don't mind, I would say.
Okay, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will consider your advice. The nice thing is, this is where I'm at with the Caro. I feel like I'm so, I don't want to say good with it, I'm so solid with it that I could play another opening and come back to it and then have 2 openings as black.
You can always, have 2 options, a solid and a more dynamic based on how you're feeling.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, Kevin. Well, thanks for coming in. Best of luck in the last round. Hopefully
Thanks for having me. I don't know if you've heard my theory in the last round. When you're doing bad in a tournament, for the last round, all you have to be is less broken than your opponent. Less emotionally devastated. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah,
So,
1 game left.
Yeah.
If you finish strong, it'll feel like,
Exactly.
you won half the games.
Well, I'll feel like that. I won't have done that, but I'll feel like it. All right.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you. Have a great one. How did Emily end up doing?
She won.
She won? Nice.
Check
Excellent.
this out.
Ooh, something exciting.
Emily got him with the old.
Oh,
The old puzzle rush.
nice. That's always fun.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit bad for him. He's a Chicago Bears fan, and
Oof.
as a fellow Chicago Bears fan, we suffer a lot. So
Yeah.
there's one more layer.
Well, yeah. That one is, yeah.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you. It's over.
I don't know if I can do it. Should I play the Nightorf next round? No prep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just do it.
Nice. As white.
As white. Alrighty, folks. Let's check in on our heroes today. Dina, still defending, getting into time pressure. So this one is going to be again going to be tricky. Need to find moves where you can hold on and not blunder. Tony played rook h8 here, h3. So white playing the right moves, but spending a lot of time. So here at least Tony has the time advantage. So hopefully that works out in his favor as the game blows up. Let's go to the top boards. So Matveshin here continuing the squeeze. And he makes it look very easy, g4. It's like now's the right time. He's controlling everything. Takes, rook e8. He goes g5. Now black has to bring the knight somewhere. I mean, d8 looks like, or d7 looks like the most natural square, but maybe he's considering knight g8 and h6 as well. But Armin now is thinking down to 25 minutes, no second time control. So this is where things are going to get pretty critical. And white just has kind of pleasant game here. Queen d4 is coming, maybe rook a6, bishop d3, rook e1 as well. I think actually it's good for black that he managed to trade off one pair of rooks, so white has kind of less to do damage with, but still, a win here could be very, very good for Matveshin, so I'm sure he's focused. This board 2 game, super complicated. After a long think, Bilal played rook d1, and now queen c8 from black, hitting the g4 pawn. And if g5, I think black's idea is to... Oh, okay, white played c3. If g5, I think the idea is to take and go knight g4, going after the dark squared bishop and, yeah, fighting back on the king side. But c3. c3, Bilal sacrificing a pawn. So if knight g4, he wants c takes b4, but what about b takes c3? What does he want here? Yes, either knight e4, knight e2, rook d3. Some way of winning the pawn back. Maybe g5. Oh boy. Okay, so this game is blowing up. 40 minutes for black. He goes queen takes g4, also very logical. Try to get the queens off. Now if white wants to, he can get this pawn back with takes, and c takes b4. But and black is taking here. Maybe castling. H-pawn is hanging. Rook c6. Okay, moves are coming in. Takes on b4. So we're getting an endgame. Grandmaster is saying that this endgame is going to be nice for him. And, you know, he might have a point. He's got like b5, b6. Black should probably take this bishop, I think. But then he's going to have this kind of good knight against bad bishop. So Bilal might have managed to kind of outplay his opponent here a bit in the transition from the middle game to the end game. Interesting stuff. We'll have to see how this one plays out in the next few moves. Okay, board 3. Vladimir Kopian was trying to convert this exchange up position. He gives back his extra pawn to trade rooks. Now rook a8. And black is going to try to hold this, but it's very difficult, I think. Because the extra rook is quite strong. Black has a nice knight on b4, but it's just more of a decoration. It's just kind of floating, holding the queen side. It's hard for black to hold everything together in the long run. For now, white wants to take the pawn. I think black can still play queen b6 here. Looks like the most likely move. But then white, continues to try and do damage. Queen f4, bishop e8 ideas slowly getting in. Okay, we'll see what Melik does here. Board 4. Zhao still trying to outplay Isaac Wang here somehow, but not sure if it's going to happen. Black's position looks very healthy. He's got the pressure on the f-file. It's hard to see how white is going to continue here. Black just needs to find a way to continue sitting on the position. Maybe rook f6. It's hard for white to move with this f-pawn hanging. So Isaac in solid shape. Let's see if he can hold on to the tension. Board 5. What was happening here? Oh, this was the interesting two knights against bishops game. So g3 trades on e6. So we had some structural changes here. Takes on d4. Black still has this weak pawn on h5, weak pawn on e6, but some open lines to compensate. Traded on c3. Now queen takes d4. Knight takes e6. Hello, Joe. You want to join?
Should I?
Please. Please. Getting guests left and right.
Saw you have a section of heaven.
Yes. How did it go today? Hold on, let's get you in.
My game was so good that I actually felt bad about it.
Wow.
It was over in 7 moves.
7 moves.
Yeah. My opponent is 10 years old, 1660, and blundered a whole rook out of a fantasy variation.
Well, obviously we have to see this, folks. This is Joe Bruin, playing in the under
2100. I don't have a DGT board, unfortunately, so it might be hard for you to pull it up.
Oh well, we can just make moves on. This
Okay.
is gonna be on board 1. We're just gonna borrow
Great.
it for a sec. Let's see it.
All right, so I have white against the Karo Khan.
I always forget that your last name is not Bruin.
Fun fact. So I play f3, inspired by a blitz session I watched from Daniel Naroditsky. So she takes, which is, I feel like, always very helpful. I take back, and now e5.
Okay,
knight
typical
to
stuff.
f3. She takes on d4. And now here, I was actually not sure what to do. I was like, wait, if I take with the knight, that's obviously bad because of queen check. Or I was also thinking like maybe they play c5 or something. But
Right.
no, this is just not good. So I was looking at queen takes, and then she trades queens. I take back with a knight, and I'm playing an endgame with an isolated e-pawn. I was like, this doesn't look very fun either. I also hate trading queens because I like attacking.
Yeah.
So instead of taking the pawn back, I decide to...
Oops, sorry. Oh no, it's not your game. Here we go.
I decide to play bishop c4.
Yeah, I think that looks right.
Yeah, and then she was playing very fast. I spent maybe like 3 or 4 minutes on this move. So I was like my first pause. And then she thought here for like 15, 20 minutes. After blitzing out the opening, I was like, okay, that's either a good thing or a bad thing.
Right.
And
Oh, can I guess?
yeah,
B5,
yeah.
C5.
Exactly.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, well, when she played B5, I was like, oh, that's not a good move. I was like already thinking about like, okay, I should calculate sacking on F7 just briefly just to see. And I was like, all right, I'll just go back to B3.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, she plays C5. I was like, oh no, like I felt honestly bad because she's like 10 years old. She's 16. Like she's a good player, but I just obviously had a blind sight for a moment. And then, yeah, she thought for like another 30, 40 minutes. And I was just like watching the other streamers' boards, watching all my friends' boards. And then,
Dang.
I mean, we could go through the rest of the game, but it's like,
Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
that's right. Yeah, there's another classic blunder here, Bishop G4.
Yes.
Take win this one, but
Love getting that in blitz games.
yeah, I think knight of 6 maybe is.
Yeah, I think that should be a move. She said that she didn't like after knight at f6 you can play knight to g5,
Right.
and the best move is bishop to e6. But that's still a fine move or position for black. I was just looking at it with the computer with her.
So this is playable.
Yeah, I don't know how else you would defend the f pawn.
Yeah.
So knight takes f takes, and it doesn't want me to take on e6 because they have queen e7
Okay.
apparently. And yeah, if I just like castle, for example, they can just play like e5, I think. I don't know.
Still looks like compensation.
Yeah, so the game could continue from here.
Yeah, I'm wondering maybe there's a more accurate move. I'm not really sure. Bishop b4 check or something. I don't know.
She told me that she hadn't seen bishop c4. She was like, yeah, usually you should just take back with the queen. And I didn't have a board, so I pulled it up on my phone, and like bishop c4 was the top move.
Yeah, no, this is definitely right.
So I don't know a lot of theory. This might be, it's at least the second time I've played a fantasy over the board, because the first time I was learning theory on the spot, which is pretty bad. If I could show you, maybe.
Yeah.
So instead of them taking on e4, they play e6,
Mm-hmm.
which is maybe a more challenging.
It's the Caro French.
Yeah.
It's a super opening, uncrackable.
So this was like many years ago. I played this,
Mm-hmm.
not like that. It was like after COVID, but before like 2022 had to have been. I had never played a fantasy.
So COVID.
Yeah, just after COVID. Yeah, maybe 2021. But I used to play the French exchange, and everyone would make fun of me for it
Mhm.
before I knew better. So I stopped.
Good.
But I would play a French exchange, and then I would play c4.
Mm-hmm.
So in here, this position, I was like, oh, e6. That's, like you said, a French kind of
Right.
move, right? So instead of taking, I just play c4 immediately.
Oh, okay.
And then they take on e4, and then I go to reach for my f pawn to take back, and then I was like, oh, that's a huge blunder. They have queen to h4 check. I
Right.
was like, oh my god. So I just play like knight c3,
Uh-huh.
and I just played from here, a gambit essentially. And for whatever reason, they never took on f3, and eventually like I got the pawn back and I won the game.
Nice.
But that just goes to show how little I prep my openings.
Right.
I don't know.
I was worried you were gonna play e takes d5
No.
because it's a French, and then c4. It's like,
No.
because you're like, this is what I used to play. So, yeah.
No.
I think actually these days maybe knight c3 even they just
Yeah,
they just hold the tension.
That's what I do now,
Yeah.
because you have to protect the e pawn.
Right. So there's no queen h4.
Exactly.
And then somewhere e5.
Yeah.
you can
So
push.
I learned this basically just playing online blitz,
Right.
which is the only prep I really do for chess.
Nice.
It's gotten me this far. I guess I could do a little bit more prep and go a little farther, but yeah.
Is there anyone's game you want to see?
How's Dina doing?
So Dina
And
I thought
Katz.
was doing all right. And Katz, I assume you know Alex.
Of course. Shout out to Sack Checkmate.
So, yeah, actually, he's also a streamer. Yeah, he just doesn't do it that often. But this is a streamer versus streamer battle. Yeah, they've got like a very, how to say, they got a chess game. They've got like a straight out, like it's an unclear position. There's a lot of options for both sides. And I think the time is going to tick down, and then Alex is going to do something. He's going to try to break through somehow.
Isn't this kind of an unusual pairing based off their scores, or is there some inaccuracy?
I would say this late in the round, in the tournament, you often get more closer matchups. But yeah, generally you're either playing like way up or way down in the open section. But now with like more score groups, there's not as many players in each position. People are withdrawing, and so it's like
got it.
Yeah, you get these pairings. Because yeah, 2 rounds ago she played Grandmaster, lost, then she won. Now she's playing up again this time. Not as much up. But yeah, 20 minutes. So
I was talking to Alex after my first day, which I guess maybe his second or third day, and he was saying if I lose my next game, I'm gonna withdraw. He felt really bad. I think he lost to like a 2100 or something, or maybe even lower. But yeah, he was pretty depressed, to say the least. And I saw him the next day. I said, I'm glad you made it, because that means he won a game or something, or didn't withdraw at least. And now he gets to play against Dina on stream for all the fans.
Yeah.
And he's up on time. How do you feel about like the pawn on A3? Is that annoying, or is it like not a big deal? I feel like in the end game it could be valuable.
Yeah, no, it's double-edged. Black might end up losing both of these pawns, but in the end game it would be kind of an issue. So Black also has counter chances in the long run.
Oh, shout out to Blood Queen and Houseline.
Hello.
I was gonna say you can't really see the chat too well.
Oh yeah, no, I have to like come here.
There it is. Hey Dushin. Good to see you. How's everyone doing? We need more streamers at these tournaments.
Yeah. Well, I think next year, folks, if you're a streamer and you're interested, they're definitely looking to have more people here. Oh, Bishop takes D4.
Finals week
From Dina.
Oh, that feels like that helps White.
That's a big decision.
Because now the bishop can come out, right? But I guess maybe Dina wants to play E5.
I don't think E5.
No, that's a blunder.
But one day, yeah. Sorry. So what?
So she wants to move her queen, and her rook. No, trade rooks first, then move. No, maybe.
Yeah, maybe she wants to start trading everything off. I'm not sure.
Rook to the C file.
But I don't know. You like the bishop pair?
I do like the bishop pair.
Yeah.
They say it's a good thing to have.
Yeah, I mean, White's bishop looks great. I don't know. White can go F4 somewhere.
True. Thank you, Deshchen. Do you also have, is that YouTube as well on here?
Yes. Yeah, this
That's
is a
awesome.
restream chat. So
How's your experience meeting Susan? For you?
I think for you, Joe.
For me, Ash, I'm assuming you've met her before.
Susan, yes.
Yeah.
Many
Yeah,
times.
this was my first time meeting Susan. I got her autograph. I have no idea if she knows who I am. I told Kostya this before meeting her, but she was the coach at Webster University, and I had emailed her asking if their school would like to join the Collegiate Chess League, which is what I do at chess.com. And she told me that they unfortunately couldn't join because they had too many requirements for school. The students are very studious. So, yeah, that was my only interaction with Susan before meeting her, and I doubt that she remembers that. But I did tell her that I do work for chess.com running the Collegiate Chess League, so maybe she does remember. I'm not sure. It's been some time now. Now it's Liam Lee who's the coach
Right.
at Webster.
Yeah, and then they've since played a season, yeah?
Yeah, they played one season and they got second place with Liam as their head coach. Okay, so yeah, Queen D6 here. So getting off the pin.
Right.
Still not ready to play E5 just yet, but maybe trading rooks.
Trading and then E5. Yeah, and then the knight maybe somehow... Actually, it's hard for the knight to get back in. B pawn is always hanging. But
B pawn is tender.
at least she has some idea. Maybe even D4, E5 and D4 she wants. Open up the bishop.
That would be a good bishop.
Okay. Well, go Dina. Tony here. Tony of the Chess Sharks. He's been struggling. He's been just grasping for air.
He's cramped.
He's still kicking, but yeah, he just can't move.
Last I checked on his board, it was when he played knight to D7.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I always think it's interesting when you have like a bishop on E6 and you still have an E pawn on its starting position, because E pawn is one of your two central pawns. Usually you like to control the center with the two center pawns, so having it blocked is kind of tough, and that bishop has no retreating squares because the knight's on D7 and there's a pawn still on F7. White's just pushed their F pawn. So yeah, white looks pretty comfortable. I would say definitely a space advantage, especially in the center.
Yeah, like he wants bishop D3 and then F5.
Yeah, it's trapping the bishop.
It's a big problem. This black's king side is going to start getting toasted.
Yeah,
and,
I guess the bishop could still take on D5, but yeah, don't envy black's position here.
Yeah.
Tony, it's showing 1871. Is that?
No, he's
It's like 1955, right?
yeah, these ratings are off. So Tony's like 1950, 50 something, 1955 exactly. His opponent, I'm not sure, but they're all in the under 2100 section.
I think there's under 2300.
Tony's under 23?
I think he's playing up a section.
Ah, okay. So yeah, his opponents have been pretty decent.
Yeah, Emily won her game today. Very, very nice.
Very convincingly.
Greek gift, right? A Botez gambit from her opponent, which was, you love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony, I'm fairly confident he's in the under 2300.
Okay.
Because I think he had a draw against the 2200 earlier in the tournament. I could be mistaken.
I think the ratings might have been off because.
Well, I don't know if I was looking at. I think I heard it from someone.
Ah, okay.
So
okay.
maybe
Yeah.
Things get lost or exaggerated, but I wouldn't put it past Tony for sure. He's a strong player. His opponent, I want to say, might be like 1800 something.
Right.
When I was looking, maybe I could remember the sheet.
I'll have to ask him. He's only been on the stream like 4 times so far. And I just haven't had a chance to get in that question. What section are you? Section are you in? Do we know a good book that explains the Polgar coaching philosophy? I'm not sure. There must be one that's more about them, about the family. But off the top of my head, it's hard to think of it. But yeah, Tony, unpleasant position. He has to make moves that aren't blunders.
Luckily, he's up on time.
Yes, that's the one thing going for him, is that he's got extra time. He is under 2300. Thank you, Houseline. Vladimir's game is interesting. Yeah, let's see how Vladimir's doing. He had an extra exchange against Melik, and now he's using that rook. So it's rook a8, queen b6, bishop c4, and now the queen just comes in. And ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
Can you go back 2 moves? Right here? Okay. I was wondering if he was thinking of ideas of like taking on e6.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So here,
But the queen's
Here.
guarding that, obviously.
so okay, he goes he defends f8.
Exactly. So now taking doesn't work.
Because here was a threat. Because if queen takes, yeah, bishop would be hanging too.
Oh, very smart. Now he gets to the back rank,
Right.
and threatening mate in 1 is always very nice.
Yeah.
Very forceful move.
Yeah. So if black takes this pawn,
Check.
then he's busted. Because now you're threatening mate, and then king h7, queen j, and you have to consider walking out, which I think almost never works.
Well, that looks fun.
I think this would be the easiest.
There's one check. This king has to continue going forward.
And then we got this one.
Boom. Tactics.
So, yeah, rook is good. But he doesn't have to take, so he could just like go here.
Yes.
But then this and takes on f7, so it's collapsing.
Also looks very strong.
Ooh, okay, and then if he comes out here first, then this anyway. So this is going to be a bit of an uh-oh for black. What about king h6? Okay, king h6. It's a good try.
Could we trade queens?
So yeah, minimum we could just trade queens, and it should be winning for white.
And you can try to come back
Exactly.
to the a pawn, yeah.
Okay, let's say here.
Now you can try to get to b5 maybe.
Here. Yeah, and rook is coming to b5. Okay, here there's this one, and
Nice. Tactics again.
dang. Rook b5, yeah. It looks lost.
Knight c6.
It looks lost.
Well, maybe we just bring the bishop back to the long diagonal.
Yeah, nice.
So maybe there's like, no, you can't go bishop c3 because you get forked.
Still some work to be done. I do feel like this would probably be good too.
Just trade and push.
Because you get like a6, rook b7, and black's pieces just get very stretched out, I think.
Rooks are pretty good.
Yeah. And Vladimir's pretty good. So I think he's gonna convert this. But king h6 maybe best try.
Delaying the inevitable, potentially.
Yeah. No, I mean sometimes you hold these, but it's tough. It's tough.
How's Robbie doing?
Robbie Kevlashvili is this was an interesting one. I think he was doing okay. And now I think he is continuing to do okay.
Our fellow St. Louisan.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we had some moves. So here, knight d3.
Queen trade declined.
So he's playing for the win, kind of.
He's cooking.
Yeah, he's cooking.
Okay.
Queen takes c5.
So, yeah, it's 4 pawn islands versus 2, but a very strong a strong pass pawn in the center with d4, and more active pieces for sure.
Yeah, black is active.
We like having queens in the center and in games. Just controlling more squares. Back rank issues for white.
Yeah, rook h5 we're just taking.
Love that for us.
Is Gabriel my opponent from Spain? No, I played a different French grandmaster. Yeah, black's very active here. It's got d3 coming, but feels like it should be equal. I would think neither side has enough here. Queen d2, a3. But yeah, if I had to pick, probably take black.
Another St. Louisan I wanted to ask about is Gabby.
Gabby, yes.
I think last I looked, she was like up a pawn in the opening and had way less time than her opponent, and then I think she blundered.
Oh. Yeah, her her position was, her position was really nice, I thought. Oh, d5 was played, so we were looking at this earlier. d6, queen e2, knight e4.
Wait, can you go back? I missed
Oh.
how she got out of something.
Oh, like the opening, or
Yeah, d4. After d4, I was
Hmm.
not sure where she would put her queen. Oh, just here, and then
Yeah, there's nothing so
you can't
easy
play
for white.
c5 because the knight hangs.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I missed this far. Okay,
Yeah.
so she wasn't gonna get forked, so that's good.
Right. I think black was doing okay here. It's just like a weird position.
Yeah, she's a little behind on development,
Right.
but okay.
Knight e5.
So there goes an exchange, but she's really
Full rook.
applying the pressure. Okay, so queen trade.
So then
She gets a
takes
piece,
here,
so now it's the exchange, right?
down an exchange.
She's getting
Takes
some
a pawn.
pawns. Is this the live position?
This is live.
Okay. Yeah, look at the time. Her opponent, she had like 30 minutes to like, it was like an hour still. Maybe
Wow.
an hour 20.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's Gabby. She. Some players, they just spend their time
But
as quickly as possible.
I saw she beat Ilya,
Right.
so that's very impressive for
Mhm.
sure. Do you think that's her best win ever?
Maybe by rating.
Yeah. Cause how high is Ilya? Is he over 2,600?
He was like
Okay.
currently he's under, but he was over
Got
20.
it.
He was like 2630. Yeah. So very strong player.
Yeah,
So
not
that
his
might be
best.
her highest rated win ever, actually. This one, actually, I'm not sure. Like, it's hard for white to get the second rook out. So I kind of like what Gabby's cooking here.
Has he moved the king yet?
It's a great question.
Like, is castle legal?
I think he has. Yeah, he moved.
There it is. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
great
he's
question.
trying to reset the king, right? I had a game like that earlier this tournament where my opponent put the king back on the starting square, and I was like, I swear, if they touch their king to try to castle, I'm gonna call them out.
What was the opening? This was King's Gambit. Actually, very interesting opening.
Wow.
I mean, classic line from like the 18th century. Like,
That's exciting.
you know this one?
No.
So if rook takes, queen e2 check, bishop e7, knight f6, king
Oof.
f8, bishop h6.
That's gnarly.
And if this one, you have knight f6 and bishop
Bishop
c7
takes. Ouch.
with the classic
Oh,
kaya booyah. So queen check.
imagine inventing that like 200 years ago. You blow
Guys,
people's
I
minds.
swear it works. And so black ended up above a pawn, but just like with this weird, like neither king is castling. And yeah, I mean, I don't know about all these moves. I'm sure there was mistakes, but this position here, okay, rook g1 check. The king can go maybe to h6, maybe to h8. I think h6 somehow feels
We're not going to f8.
safer. Maybe f8's okay too. I was just wanting to get in front of this pawn, but like now, white has to deal with knight f3 check. Knight takes f5 is also a problem,
That's a factual statement.
and bishop here runs into both f5 and rook e8.
Oh wow.
So
Okay, so rook g1 check, and white has problems once the king moves,
yeah,
and the king has a lot of options.
king is a lot of. I don't think black really has a blunder here, and white's rook has just stepped into it. So like, what is his plan?
What is the plan?
And imagine she gets like 4 pieces on the 4th rank like this. That would be
Knight 4.
That would be so funny. But f5, right? I mean, is there?
F5. I like your rook e8 idea too.
Rook e8, I mean, you can't defend the knight. Yeah, and you get your rook in.
Love that.
So she's got like options on how to win the. So I feel like
He's just
we're
collapsing.
missing something here. Either white's just like dead lost, or we're missing something. Because this move, like, maybe it's already a problem for white, but rook g1 steps into knight f3 check as well, so it's like.
Do you think white thinks they can castle? No, the bishop's
No,
coming
they
C1.
definitely, yeah. For many reasons, yeah. And so now Gabby just needs to
Wait, okay.
play a
What
legal
if,
king
what
move
if
here.
do you think like rook g4 next?
Okay, that's probably the idea.
King moves, rook g4.
But then black can still.
Maybe still rook e8.
I was thinking this one. If rook e8 takes and then.
Knight takes on f5.
Oh, there's also knight c2. Like.
Oh. That's a lot of pawns.
Yeah, but the bishop is very strong on d5, so this one is kind of like. I would say this is very unclear, actually.
Yeah, maybe one of the knight forks is better.
Yeah, I actually
Like
forgot knight
knight fork
c2 is
immediately.
also possible.
Who knows?
And then.
Does your knight get out though?
Yes,
guess
let's see.
the
Take,
a-pawn is hanging.
Take. Just
Yeah, I figured there's like a
Right.
knight discovery, but yeah.
maybe this one. No, it's very it's complicated, but yeah, rook g4 clearly what white needs to try. The other thing is though on rook g4 somewhere, like maybe black just moves the bishop, like bishop e3 or bishop e5 with this double attack now.
And then
So there's no castling, king moved.
yeah, like knight g3 doesn't work.
Yeah, so I don't.
I'm thinking like maybe we can move our knight to try to guard c2, but the bishop's hanging.
Knight d2,
Oh,
counterattack.
now we have bishop to e2.
Bishop
no,
back
rook
d2.
takes
Rook
knight.
d4, yeah. Okay, but even this one,
bishop to
like
yeah.
black already has 2 pawns and the bishops are anchored. So I feel like black
Yeah.
just has great compensation here, even
Go
if we're
Gabby.
not winning. Yeah, go Gabby. We'll see. Man, 2 minutes. Ugh, it's tough. 2 minutes is very
Gabby
tough.
too. She's really thinking about where the king should go.
Yeah, because it feels like a concrete decision. You know, you make the wrong choice and you don't. Probably she realizes she has huge potential here, so she's trying to figure out.
Her opponent's trying to give her so many tactics that she flags with
Right.
too many decisions.
Tricky guy, King's Gambit player, but he's gonna blitz out rook g4. I mean, that's like it seems like the only move, and yeah, I'm sure she's anticipated. So she's like, all right, King f8, rook g4, and then what do I do?
Lots of great choices. Just gotta.
Yeah, maybe let's stay here. She has 90 seconds. See,
She just gotta move.
see what she does.
Yeah, I had a pretty devastating game the other day. I blundered pretty big time and spent all of my time just trying to find something, and eventually just had to blitz out the rest of the game and didn't hold.
Yeah, you
So,
showed me that one, right? That one was tough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tactics. We were talking about yesterday. Is chess 99% tactics?
99 is a high number.
Yeah, we didn't settle on 99, but it was.
I think as low as we got was a 70. Was what was
Yeah.
thrown out there.
But the chess sharks were saying that it is closer to 99. They're like
Yeah.
90%.
Chess sharks being Tony.
Mostly Tony. Maybe Kaden a little bit, but yeah, not as much. 30 seconds for Gabby. You gotta go
Gabby-
run in there, tell her to
Gabby
make a
fell.
move.
I would get banned so fast.
It's not allowed to tell players.
I don't know. I've never tried it. I almost felt bad watching Emily's game because I was like, I'm gonna make a face and like give it away or something. Because yeah, I mean, she's like threatening the Greek gift. I'm like, surely she sees it.
Right.
So that was fun to watch. All right, once she's gonna flag. Sorry,
Okay.
Gabby.
No, she made a move.
Where is it?
It just takes a couple seconds.
What would you if the result pops up?
Really?
White one.
No. Oh no, that would be brutal.
All right, I'm gonna have to go check. And
Yeah, what
I'll
happened?
relay. All right, well,
Okay, King F8 play. Yeah, she's got 4 minutes. Yeah, okay, so classic.
King F8, Rook
DGT.
G4.
Hmm.
So now she's got 4 minutes to.
So she
Figure
didn't
out.
spend all her time. Yeah, she's left herself with 4 minutes.
Plenty of time, 30-second increment.
Now, yeah, now White's next move is like knight d2, probably. So Black has to be super precise.
Does it though? Aren't there many ways to win? Or be solid at least? Like we were looking at Rook E8,
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Knight C2.
I wasn't sure what's best. Like, I kind of like this one.
Yeah, save the bishop.
This one I think is okay. Like here, I think I would take black for sure. But it's not like
It's not clear.
not clear, yeah, for sure. And then there's like knight c2. This one I think is also unclear, just because White's pieces look pretty active and d6 is hanging. So it's tough.
Yeah, and she did decide F8 for her king.
Right, f8 seems solid. Maybe the h pawn will be annoying one day. Now, yeah, I'm thinking it should be 5 feels right. Just
Save that guy.
keeping everything, yeah, protected.
Renewing your threats on F5 and C2.
Yeah, exactly. Then White has to find some defense. But yeah, we were looking at bishop e5, knight d2.
Oh.
Okay, knight c2 played.
She says, "Give me that rook."
Yes, give me that. So king f2. Does she throw in bishop e3 check or?
Hello.
Or no?
Game analysis.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, we came actually to do a real pretending. Well, actually, we were actually just gonna like pretending I'm like bothering you or something, because I was just like, because to show like the streaming part of it.
Sure.
But actually, can you take a YouTube video of them like that?
Yeah. We'll just continue normally. You guys do what you need to do. Okay, so Gabby went knight c2 check. Now she can either take the rook or go bishop e3.
That's fun.
But bishop e3, I guess.
King F3.
King
yeah.
up and
Keeps pressure on the bishop.
right.
Now you take the rook.
Yeah. King
You
takes.
lose your bishop, and now maybe you save the d pawn.
Take here.
Okay.
But I'm worried about the knight on a1, right? It's like,
Yeah. I guess if let's say knight takes d6,
yeah.
then probably we take on a2.
Take on a2. Okay. And Black's 2 pawns up.
Now your
Pieces are weird. There's rook a4.
Oh yeah.
Rook a4 is a problem.
All right.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, the knight can't get out. Yeah, I wouldn't. I feel like we had better for Black. I don't know. I mean, she doesn't have a lot of time, so.
Did Gabby mess up?
Okay, check played. King f3.
She did check.
And she takes, so
Uh-oh.
she goes for this line. So king takes e3, knight c2 check.
Knight comes out with check. King has to move.
King somewhere. Not sure. King
F4.
d2. King f4. I was thinking with tempo.
Ooh, we want to go
And-
up. Because, yeah, if you go to d2, aren't you helping the knight come back?
Right, knight d4.
Yeah.
Just like keep making it real.
Now maybe knight d6.
Knight d6.
We're getting fancy.
Take, and take. Yeah.
Would you be open to a short interruption while Juan is here to film? Like, I
Um,
wanted to do one where I'm like pretending to kick you off stream.
Yeah, actually, well, we could take a break, or do you want to do that on live on stream.
If you want to, either way, I was just gonna try to pick you up and like take you.
That'd be
you know?
funny.
Okay, all right.
I think the chat would appreciate
let's-
some
'Cause I'm
behind
like,
the
either way, I think they'll be entertained, so you don't have to like go off.
Okay.
So
All
I'm
right,
gonna,
we'll stay
I'm
on.
gonna come in here, just like,
Should
like,
I
could you,
get
yeah,
off?
so I can like have direct access, because I'm gonna try to. Question, how much do you weigh?
I'm like, like 150.
Okay, you're late.
Oh shit,
Kilos,
she's gonna.
Kilo.
Okay,
Okay, here.
Alright.
Yeah, move away from the wires so I can like.
Let him get into his groove.
Right. Let me,
And just, you're just gonna stand up a little bit, and I'm just gonna try to like pick
Put
you
my
up.
stuff here.
Okay.
Are they listening to you?
yeah, no, we're full live. So you want me to stand up?
Mildly, like I'm gonna come get you. So Juan's gonna start. So Juan, you're gonna start like me, and then I'm just gonna go try to pick him up. Okay.
I'm on.
All right, I'm gonna try to keep doing commentary.
for a second.
Oh no! Bye everyone.
Thank you.
Well, there goes.
He's still alive.
Oh no! Oh, it's just the power.
No one
Sorry.
was hurt.
Can I see it? Okay. Hopefully, I don't have to do that again.
Hopefully we got it, folks.
Kostya, you just got swept off your feet.
First time I've been carried away from doing commentary. I'm trying to follow the games. Gabby has 1 minute left.
We've got social
Oh,
media.
and she's about to lose her rook too.
She's gonna lose her rook.
Oh man. Well, rook g8 check is a
Oh no.
threat.
She shouldn't have gone for the rook.
I don't like this. Yeah, because the knight on a1 is all loose.
The knight on a1, just be there.
Okay, king e7. You gotta go.
Knight
Takes.
takes with check. Pawn takes. Rook g1.
It would have been funny if I'd done it like over the shoulder.
Sag.
Actually, next time.
King f6.
Yeah. This is the problem. King f6, bishop somewhere.
Gabby, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just you don't have a lot of
Time
time.
pressure.
And
Brutal. Yeah, she shouldn't have gone for the rook. The dumb rook in the corner.
yeah, I think just like keep the compensation. Bummer. Okay, wait. Do we have moves? Let's see. Takes
Oh.
here. Okay, so
Oh.
she's going for the exchange sack.
So she does take
Alright,
on
what's happening
a2.
here? Take.
What if white just saves their bishop?
Also possible.
Bishop d3. You play what, a6?
A6 or something.
And they go after the b pawn.
I mean, here black has 3 pawns for the exchange, so it's like that's a lot of pawns. But the rook just immediately
But
is
the pawns are getting gobbled.
yeah breaking through.
Look at our pieces.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, I guess we can just give 1 pawn like this, and then get the knight back. I do think actually black could be okay, something like this. But
Yeah, but it's hard with low time.
but also white could just take immediately, and then take this one.
Knight c2. Hope for king d3.
Yeah. I don't know. It's still not easy. Icy's saying bishop d3, bishop b3, and I'll run the h pawn. So take here.
We have results on Okopian's game.
Yes, h pawn is running. Oh, Vladimir won.
Nicely. Wow, 6 points.
Wait, so how this happened? So he took and went king h6 and just oof.
GG.
He got GG'd. Oof, that's it. But was this a blunder? I thought king h6 wasn't that easy still. Right?
Time to turn on the eval.
Yeah, this one we'll check with Compy, because we have a question. So queen f8. Okay, it says this is
Yeah, we looked at this.
So we did think this was winning, but it's like, yeah, it takes some more maneuvering. Okay. So we weren't missing anything obvious. But shouldn't have taken on f2 first, I think. Yeah.
I love a pawn with check. But
Dang, you must have just blundered this. Dang. Okay, so Vladimir then moves into the lead. It'll very much now depend on this board 1 game to see if one of these players can win it. And here it was Matvishin who was really squeezing. Yeah, h4, h5. Black goes e6 though. Okay, so this one is heating up. Queen d4. Bishop takes h5. d5 played. Oh boy, takes, rook d6. f6. And king g7. Man, black is kind of scrambling here, huh? But the game remains complicated.
rook b8. Is that too slow?
No, looks nice. Rook b8. Just try to take a pawn.
Maybe. Queen c7.
Yeah, queen c7. Oh, and then rook c8.
Rook c8.
So
yeah,
unpleasant.
Yeah.
How old is Victor? Victor, I think, like early 20s. He's what school does he go to? I know he's one of the college kids.
Yeah, I think he was like a Texas Tech guy.
Mm.
Would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
I should know, right?
Yeah, I thought you would. Armin, I know, is graduated
Yeah,
from
Armin,
somewhere.
I think Armin was UTRGV maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Just guess. I could just throw out any school name. And,
Yeah, like okay, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe they're both graduated. Victor should be like freshly graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Still young.
They grow up so fast, huh?
Yeah, early 20s. Kids.
So. Okay, I mean, it's a big round. If he wins, he's clear first, 6.5. Bilal also could win and get 6.5. Does Bilal, does he play for any school or?
That is a name that I don't know.
Ah. You should know his name because he is the current African champion.
Okay.
So. And he's, okay, he's trying to squeeze this endgame out. And, yeah, black has a lot of weaknesses that white could target here, but white also has some pawns that aren't. But actually, I really like his position. You can go e4 somewhere, rook c6, rook a6.
Yeah, can we go for the a pawn immediately, or is that
Rook a4.
we get our rook trapped?
No, I think it's okay.
Yeah, like what would white do in the meantime?
I just wouldn't want to allow black to get rook b4 in, like maybe with some counterplay. That might not be anything, but I feel like you have no rush, so you can just like bring up your king,
Just bring
play
the king in.
e4.
You can always go for it later.
Yeah, exactly. Like white's just in total control here. So this is looking very unpleasant. So good chance for Bilal actually to get to 6.5 out of 8.
It's pretty good. Okay, Robbie
It's very good.
drew.
Robbie drew this position. So you play queen takes c5 and
They just
offer to
agreed.
draw.
As you suspected.
And Zhao trying to squeeze this out against the kid, Isaac Wang. But this one, for the most part, was looking okay for black. But actually, now white is getting a bit of something with bishop b4 coming. Oh, let's check back in with Dina. We haven't seen what's been going on there. And she's got 3 minutes. Uh-oh.
Speedy.
So Dina gave up the bishop. Opponent traded rooks. Bishop a7. Wow. Dude thinks he's Karpov. Bishop a7. Queen d7. d4. Bishop c6. And now e4. White's trying to break with the bishop pair.
Smart.
Yeah, it's hard to judge this because black can also go like bishop c6, and then you can't really take without allowing some
It's an open
counter
invitation.
some counter attack. So not sure. I feel like this should be nice for white, but I don't know how much. Bishop c6. Is he going e5? So Dina has less than 2.5 minutes here to make a move.
To find bishop c6.
I definitely don't like takes because white could recapture or play like d5.
Yeah, all lovely ideas.
And just try to break through here. Little takes, check. King f7. Not clear. Queen e4 is good enough. So bishop c6, e5 takes. Oh, queen e2 like this. Okay, that's some very precise play. So e5 and queen e2.
This is live?
No. But let's see.
Oh, still think. Oh,
King f7 played.
Interesting.
Ooh, but King f7 allows e takes d5.
E takes, and if queen takes.
Take on h7? But maybe Dina has calculated this. Bishop c6.
Infiltrating. Yeah, I was wondering.
So, okay.
Oh.
Dina with the tricks. King f7 and pretending you blundered your h.
I need to protect my e-pawn.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this. Both rounds today. So final round will be starting 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 Eastern, 12:30 a.m. Monday morning European time, and like 4:30 a.m. India time, maybe 5 a.m. Okay, Cats with 18 minutes to try and figure this out. Tony got down on time. Dang. F4, knight c5, bishop f3, f5, take, e5, bishop h6, h4.
Sack.
White putting the squeeze, but knight takes e5, snags a pawn.
Tony.
But
with the tactics.
Walks into. Okay, trades.
Tony with the pawn.
So he's got a pawn, but like I still don't love his position. It's kind of
But a pawn.
Yeah, but white just has like so much
A pawn is
control over everything. I don't know. Maybe roughly balanced, but I'd rather have white here with like the
with the space and the piece activity.
Like with the low time for both sides. I feel like white's position is easier to play. So bishop f6, rook e6. And then knight e3. Some potential sacrifices, but still very tricky. I mean, not clear how easy it is for white to play. Oh, we have e5 and f5 from Dina. Dina now playing for the blockade. But the position is really, really risky for black in the long run, playing against this dark squared bishop. Knight on a6, not very comfortable. So I don't know. Queen d1. I think Dina could hold it. Not a lot of time, but to me the position kind of feels holdable.
And Gabby's in time pressure again.
Oh, Gabby's down to 10 seconds. Uh-oh.
Not this again.
Oh. Okay, what happened here? So she gave the exchange. Bishop e6. But, okay, 3 pawns still. Oh, but white's trying to win with the h-pawn. Uh-oh. Oh, rook g8. Oh, that's a killer move.
Our knight is so bad.
But is she in time? Okay.
Oh, she's running her e-pawn.
So she manages to stop the h-pawn, but now...
She's giving up a pawn with check.
Yeah, the rook swings over.
Should she have pushed the b-pawn, or she's still getting checked?
This e5. Why not b5 at least? Keep the pawns together, but...
Well, yeah, it's still rook b7 and probably like h6.
Yeah, it's probably bad. Because now if king comes up, h6, she's got a
got no
problem.
time.
So she has to go back, but
33 seconds. So she made that with 3 seconds left on her clock.
yeah. But why king f8? I mean, h6 now? h7? She's gonna have to just go king g8 to stop the pawn.
Why? Yeah, why f8? Why, Gabby?
Why, Gabby? Why? Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, king g. I mean, at least king g8 here. So if white takes another pawn, e3, you can at least like force white to
Do something.
bring their pieces back. But I think maybe white could just advance
Yeah, just try to go for mate.
and yeah, run the h pawn forward.
It's brutal.
So here,
So brutal.
here. Black promotes first, but white promotes with mate. So
Hate that for us.
not looking good.
Yeah,
and
poor
now it's
Gabby.
just extra tempo for white, so you can just come in.
No.
King h5, and then next is h7 check king h6.
Or king g6.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunate. She went for the rook in the corner.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Her poor knight.
That was a tough one, but I think it was a time trouble. You know, when you're in time trouble, you don't have enough time to figure out
Yeah.
such a complicated position. Okay, Gabby going down. Adina still defending.
So the bishop came back to g2.
Yeah, H form. Okay, white. He's pretending he has something, so he's just going H4.
They're role playing.
But,
I'm gonna attack you, and you're gonna defend a little bit.
it's hard because black doesn't have a lot of moves, but white doesn't have a lot of entry squares. You know, so everything is just hanging by a thread, more or less.
How about this b pawn though? We got like queen d2.
Yeah. So queen d2, black goes queen e7.
Okay.
Let's say we make some move. I don't know. And then if you go back to the c file, black goes back to cover c8. Very important.
No entrance.
Yeah, so this, I mean, this is unpleasant because white just keeps making moves. You have to continue like shuffling back and forth.
The Dina shuffle.
And yeah, it's holdable, but it's so easy to blunder with just 40 seconds. Drew Clark on the board. Let's go, Drew. Nice. Hopefully scored a point. Okay, Dina. 30 seconds. Okay, h6 played. Just kind of not letting anything fall apart. We'll see. Alex definitely going to keep squeezing this just because of the time trouble. He knows how unpleasant it is.
He also likes the screen time.
Yeah, I'm sure. Classic streamer. Cordova won. Let's see what happened here. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Last round blues, huh?
Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've heard of sniper bishops.
right.
That's a sniper knight.
And this was an OTB game, so he didn't just mouse slip, you know. Rook went to a7. And he just snapped it off. Took about 30 seconds. Kid must have been devastated.
Man, yeah.
He's up a pawn, too. Not an easy position, of course, but I feel like rook a8 and white is doing really well.
Ouch.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, I know touch piece,
Mhm.
right? If you touch a piece, you have to move it. But if you drop it on a7, like go, but you don't hit your clock, can you still move it to a8?
No, once you let go of the piece.
Really? That's brutal.
So if you drop the piece, yeah. I mean, you can
That's FIDE?
you can
Or
argue that it
both
was
USCF?
it was an accident. I think it's both.
Okay.
Like if it's like purely, truly accidental, which usually it is, but if it's like very provably accidental, then I think you can sometimes get away with it, but if the piece falls out of your hand on the way to the square, usually they call it. So you got to be very sure with the hand movements. Oh, queen d2, queen c6. Oh yeah, that was the Dina game. Yeah, maybe that was possible too. To me, queen d2 with this one. Not totally sure. King here. Queen f1 or something, but and queen d2 back. And it's very hard for white to use the extra pawn, so my guess is black might be fine here. Queen a1, queen b2 ideas. But I think black could also just kind of stay put. And yeah, that's what she's doing. So Dina waiting patiently. King g8, queen e8, king g2, queen d7 back. And yeah, she's gonna ask Katz, how are you gonna break through, bro? Maybe g4 somewhere. G4 definitely could be a thing. Takes, bishop takes. Queen comes into g6.
I like that.
G4 might be happening.
Put it in G.
Yeah, no, still very tough to hold this, I think, in the long run, because
She's also down on
got
time.
no time. Yeah.
No time,
Okay,
Dina.
played. G4 played.
G4 on
Yeah.
the board.
See, we're both IMs. We're both around this rating range, so we kind of
Go Cats.
think the same. This
Have you
one's
played
tough.
him OTB?
No.
No, never?
Mm-mm. We're always too close rated, so I've sat next to him
Ah.
maybe 100 times.
That's funny.
We've never played.
Always missed by one board.
Exactly. So yeah, I've seen him swindle some games. King h8 played by Dina. Uh-oh. So this is
now
a bad
takes.
sign, allowing takes and then a very strong protected passer.
Ugh.
Now white can start coming in with the king
Oh
too.
no. Yeah,
I think he's taking over now.
getting the pawn to h5 was really big because
Very
I was
annoying.
looking at g4 earlier, but I think black could just play g6.
Right.
But now with a pawn on h5, you have a clamp on the g pawn, so Dina no longer can support the f pawn further.
Exactly.
So, do you think instead of king h8, black should have taken, or is that also bad? Because like you get the queen into g6,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I just don't see like a resource here for black.
This is
So it's just like, yeah,
not
just like
a
that.
holding defense for Dina,
I
it
guess-
seems.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, queen f7, queen c8 check. So this
So
is
so
really-
white has found a way to break through with the h and g pawns,
Right.
breaking down Dina's defenses in the center. White has a connected passer for the long run.
Yeah. Takes. Plays queen d2 now.
Okay, going for the b pawn,
Yeah, I guess.
and now the queen can't hold on to everything for Dina now, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's very annoying. Queen e7, bishop takes d5.
And it crumbles.
Yeah, it's all falling apart. So that was the thing about the black's position. It was like holding just by a thread. And so dude played well. He found this like kind of nice little h4, h5, and
Yeah, h6 I think questionable maybe.
right. But that was also what I was suggesting, just to like make a move. But
Yeah, I was thinking
hard.
like
Maybe G6 should have done.
yeah, king
Right.
g6, king g7.
yeah,
Maybe that was
and
more
then put
hold.
the king on. But queen d2, hitting the pawn. Queen e7.
Queen
Queen
gets in,
h6 you have
king
to
back.
deal with, and then h5 is a
h5
thing.
still coming,
G5.
and now g4 no.
And
Or like I don't know.
maybe this one.
Yikes. Tactics.
And it's like black's pieces are just
Just
like
everything.
yeah. No, I don't know actually. Knight c7. Hold on, I blundered knight c7. So
Okay, take on f5.
let me take here. Okay, it's not so clear. It's
Who
not so
knows?
clear, but
Still.
that's the kind of thing. Like, there's no perfect solution. So anything you play, you're always worried about about something. And of course, white didn't have to rush with h5. Could start with f4 and then play h5, and it's really
Yeah.
a lot of pressure.
We have a question on Eric Liu's game.
Yeah, I think Eric is the one that hung the rook against Emilio.
Sorry to the Eric Liu fans.
Yeah, so just a slip, had 5 minutes on the clock, and put the rook on the wrong square. Yeah, it happens. Board 1. Oh boy. Board 1 is getting to the climax. So, bishop f3, queen a1, tricky move, queen e4, takes, check, king g6. This could actually turn either direction.
Uh-oh. So the f-pawn is a big point of interest.
Yeah. Like black can get a counterattack here quick.
Yeah, f5, check, king g5. We've got rook g7, check. Or...
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
The king can continue.
And that might be a draw. So f5, check,
King f4.
king f4,
Queen c1.
oh, queen c1 wins.
Another check. Skewer.
I think this wins. I'm just looking for something else.
Rook takes.
Yeah, and
Our bishop hangs.
yeah, but then we get checks, so we should be good.
Check, and we can push the e-pawn.
Yeah, should be winning. Wow. I mean, we could also play queen takes rook here, but I was thinking this might be a perpetual somehow.
Can we block on e2?
Yeah, actually, I'm thinking maybe it's not even needed. I think you might be able to escape this way.
Running. Boom.
But this f5, I mean, without this f5 rook g7, it would basically be toast. f5, maybe rook f5. Best try.
Someone's saying knight g6 instead of king.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Now that's a move.
Because our pawn is pinned.
And black might win this.
Is
Oh boy. All right, we got moves. What's happening? Bishop h5 played.
deflection.
Oh, a second option.
Much cleaner than what
Much simpler.
I was thinking.
See, this is a grandmaster.
Okay, so what if king f5 there instead of taking the bishop?
I don't know. Why not king f5? With
What
bishop g4, you can repeat.
We just go back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think black's playing for the win with king takes, queen takes.
What was that, Armin?
Hold on. So king f5.
So are we missing something?
Oh, queen takes f6. Oh, thank you guys.
Oh, with the rook mate.
Wow.
Rook mate. So pretty.
Dang.
Dude. Shout out to G-Gun.
Yeah. Nice spot.
The queen sack. So nice.
So both guys saw that, of course.
Gosh, dude. Bishop h5 deflection with the queen sack is just brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so good for white now.
I mean, the question is, can he get out of the checks? It feels like he can. Like, he can just run up the board. But when he gets here, there's a check on the diagonal.
Watch out for king d4, though.
Right.
Because queen b2.
So like this check, let's say comes up, this check. Say it goes this way, this one. This one. It kind of feels like a perpetual. Maybe go this way.
Yeah, d2. Or queen can come back.
So king here.
Black's final attempt.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he has enough checks here. I feel like White's gonna start blocking, and then any endgame is just good for White. So very good chances for Matvishyn here. Board 2. GM still doing GM things. Oh boy, see, look at this. See, he brought in his king. He played rook c4, and then he brought up his king, e4, rook a4, brings up his king, b4, and then he finally takes, now that it's like...
Yeah, it takes on his own time.
Best possible version. Now a5 actually looks completely over.
Or can you start with king d3?
You start with king d3, yeah. Absolutely.
So you play a5, you get checked.
Yeah, then king d3. No, but a5 takes king d3 and black loses something.
Yeah, I forgot. Our knight's covering the rook checks.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And if a5 bishop moves, then we're just getting either rook d6 or rook c6. And white is breaking through. So we might have two leaders here. Might be Bilal with 6.5 and Victor Matvishyn if he manages to convert this. Okay, Vladimir already on 6. Zhao Jinchao got some rook endgame. Extra pawn. And what is this one?
Should be winning for white.
Feels like it might be winning.
Because you got two connected passed pawns. You can sack the rook for the pawn. And just push them home.
I don't know. Black is kind of close. So say here, e2. Problem is rook e3 is a threat. So you have to take. And now how do you want to do this?
Either pawn.
Okay, let's say here.
b7. Rook back. c5. Like if king comes up, our king comes up, right? This has to be winning.
This looks winning. Hold on. This looks
Two
winning.
pawns are pretty good.
Yeah, this b7 is oh wait, I got it. Here?
Rook back. Okay, so it's a draw.
Draw.
Okay, so b7 was bad. So now c5. Uh-oh. c6. And now what, we get mated? No, maybe.
Oh. Let's say here.
A3.
And then
Maybe like rook b1. No. We're threatening c7.
I think here
It's hard to stop.
we can
Here?
make a draw.
The king chases us.
Yeah. So if here
King
we just
a2.
get check,
Check. King down.
then rook check and take.
Ouch.
You have to go here. And then
Perpetual. A
yeah.
repetition.
So we have this like funny. funny draw.
I'm always okay. So maybe we don't let the king get there.
So here, here.
Sack.
Take.
B6.
Here.
Maybe king b.
King b5. Yeah, then rook comes behind.
And we do c5.
5. Check. Oops. King up. King here. This I think is a draw because the rook is behind the advanced pawn. King is behind the backwards pawn.
Okay.
So there's like, yeah, basically no way to make progress. In fact,
Well,
black can win if white's not careful.
We'll see if they play it perfectly.
Yeah.
If
I
they
mean,
know their rook and pawn. And
here it's kind of like both sides know what they need to do, like push pawns. So b6. Okay, starts with b6, which is interesting. King e2. Whoa.
don't like it.
Well, no, actually, because no, it's just interesting because we were looking at c4, but b6 he pushes the more advanced pawn. So now e2, b7. We would get some kind of queen endgame.
But you
which
can't.
is
You're just gonna trade queens here.
immediately winning.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Kid realized this and goes king e. So b6 was very tricky try from Zhao. Kid is running the king back. And now in b7 he wants this, but here I worry black might not be in time.
Yeah, the c pawn keeps running.
It's not good.
We save our pawns in time.
It's not good.
All right, white wins.
Might be winning for white, yeah. Because king e2 definitely doesn't feel right, like stepping in front of the pawn.
So maybe just b6 is winning.
So
My initial instinct.
b6, yeah, exactly.
Like white's up a pawn, so that's why.
So push the pawn.
It's
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. Bilal won.
okay. So there's a tie.
So, well, right now he's the clear leader.
Oh,
He didn't even play a5. He just came in like this, like a boss.
like a buy, so you can't even check me.
Yeah, so next is rook c6, rook takes. So here's one leader. And Victor is still trying to convert this one.
Trying to avoid the checks.
Yeah, queen e3. Okay, yeah, not so easy for white to get out of this.
I think I'm gonna go get food.
Yeah, you got another round.
Yep.
Joe, best of luck.
Thank you.
Hopefully see you again.
Awesome.
Finish strong.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Take care, chat.
Folks, Joe Bruin on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, Facebook. Oh, you're not on all those.
Maybe not Blue Sky.
All right, not yet. He's not on Blue Sky yet, guys.
Not yet. See ya.
Oh boy, critical game. Board 1. Board 4 looks like Zhao Jinchao is going to win that one. He goes b7, rook down. Now king b5, also good probably. So you can just defend the pawn with the king and then run the c pawn. Because now if here, I think he's just pushing c4. If rook up, he can just advance his king. And if takes, this is going to be a very easy win here for white. Thank you for following, folks. This is the Dojo channel. Doing the live commentary for National Open, one of the biggest opens in the US. Oh, we haven't checked in with Tadev in a while. How's Tadev doing? She seems to have been defending this endgame, but now it's a bit collapsing here for black. As white is up a pawn and can take on f7 here, and then be 2 pawns up. So, not looking good for Tatev. Am I playing World Open? No, not this year. Although I often don't play. It's just kind of a tough tournament for me to get to. Omid Khaledi, there were some Omid fans in the chat. He's down a pawn against Gabriel Bick. Gonna have to try to defend this endgame. Not so fun. We have Ehsan Gai Magami. Grandmaster here looking to squeeze this endgame with an extra pawn against an IM. Not so easy. Oh, Dina. Let's check in with Dina. Dina's game was unfortunately unraveling. White took this pawn on b4. Black played g5. White ignores it, takes on a3. Knight comes back to e6. At least the pieces have now fixed themselves. Queen b4, bishop d3. And black has certain counterplay on the king side. Bishop e4, f4, g4, and so on. But, of course, stuff is hanging. White can take on d5. Maybe black wants to take on h5 and give queen g4 check. So there's always ways for this to go wrong for white. And black here would have at least a draw. So bishop d3, we'll see if Katz can find the win here. It feels like white's position should be winning. He's 2 pawns up, but it's always hard to defend in time trouble. So now both sides, of course, Dina's been playing on the increment, but white is now also ticking down with 5 minutes to go. Okay, some spoilers in the chat. Hopefully we should try to avoid those in the future. Let's check in with Tony. Oh, we got a queen trade. Ooh, queen e7. That's probably smart. Get the queens off the board. Knight takes d4. Black gets a pawn back, but with the queens off the board, white has a lot less counterplay to deal with and can try to win with the protected passers on the queen side. So yeah, queen e7, Elvin, exactly. And then we had Tony. I was wondering how Tony was doing. Tony looks like we might have lost the rest of the moves to his game after bishop g7. Rook e1 looks like DGT glitch. Okay. Let's go back. Board 4. Board 4. Oh, they agreed to a draw in Tony's game. Okay. That seems reasonable. I think a bit of a lucky escape for him. I thought his position was quite difficult. So, king d3, c4. Zhao still trying to convert this one, and he's very close. Rook f1, c5. And yeah, black can promote the pawn, but white's 2 pawns are gonna win them the game. Let's go to round 1. Board 1 here. Takes queen h3. Victor still trying to convert this. So Victor gave a pawn, but looks like he's got extra exchange. And okay, still work here, but I think the queen and rook should win it.
You can stay. Make her nervous.
Queen g2, no, looking good for Victor here. Just the queen and rook against an open king, I think is gonna convert here for white. But let's see if we can figure out how. So if king goes to f5, it's rook f7. If king f6, it's queen g7. And rook e7 check. Feels like black's king is very much about to get mated. Maybe king h6 here. Oh, Dina, thank you for the raid. Dina, hello everyone. Hello. We received word that Dina ended up losing that game. Sorry to hear. It's a very interesting one out of the opening, but unfortunately it didn't go her way. We're just checking out some of the final games here, finishing up in round 8 National Open. Actually, board 1, very important game right now, where white is looking to hunt down this king and try to win this endgame. If Victor Matroshin can win this, then he is going to be tied for the lead with one other player, Grandmaster Bilal Belicine from Algeria. And yeah, we're just watching this one to see if he can if he manages to convert. It's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, white's up the exchange, but king is open. Black's queen very actively placed. So we'll see here. We'll see here if white can clinch it. Maybe he can come down. Rook a1, rook h1. That might be a killer idea. And then the question will be if black can get enough checks with the queen. But queen e3, king a2. I'm not so sure. Oh no, I'm good. Thank you. Queen e6 check, king a3. Check, king a4, and yeah, big question if black can get a perpetual there. So 2.5 minutes for Victor to figure this out. Okay, he goes rook e7. Oh, rook e7 is a very nasty move because he covers queen e3 check. He sets up ideas like queen d5, rook e4. So Victor gonna be close. Hello, folks. Hello from Dina's chat. If you're joining, welcome. This is the dojo. We're doing the official commentary here for the tournament, live from the Flamingo Hotel, and a lot of games already decisive here. Board 2 decisive. Board 3 also. We had a winner. This is board 1, the battle of the leaders. White very much trying to win this one. Also, we had a big endgame on board 4. And here, we had this rook endgame, e2, Grandmaster Zhao Jinchao, very close to winning this. He takes on e2, rook check. Now he's trying to figure out where to put his king so he can try to win with the pawns. Now, if he goes this way, and he comes up, and he can already promote, and it's game over. Black's king ends up behind the second pawn. So king a6 looks good enough. He goes king c6. I think this one is also good. He can advance and again push. And this one, black doesn't even have any checks. And he's just promoting his pawn. So king c6, this looks game over. King d7 played. His opponent, Isaac Wang, playing for a norm, but he's going to get denied this round. Might have to win the last round to get it. King c7, and it's just a matter of tempos. It's just a matter of tempos, and that's it. Black resigned. So Zhao wins this one. He gets to 6 out of 8. He's going to be half a point behind the leaders. King d3, white could also advance the c pawn first and then win this way. Okay, back to board 1. This game, absolutely critical. Black not seeing a move, goes b5 just to set up some more checks with queen to c4. This would definitely be a perpetual threat. Maybe white goes rook e4 now. Yeah, very cool endgame. He's trying to finish this off. Rook e4 looks super tempting. Queen f7 check. King can go down. Queen f6 check. How does the king get out of the checks? King b1. Queen to f5, pinning the rook. And yeah, white still has a lot of work to do to finish this off. So 2 minutes for Victor. Can he find a way here to convert this? Let's stick with this game. There's still a few more games left, but this is definitely the most dramatic right now, and the most important, because this one is for first place. Okay, 1 minute for Victor. The trouble with these positions, you always have a ton of checks, but it's so hard to calculate precisely with little time all the checks and where the king can go to. So you try to just look for some construction. Okay, queen h1. He lets the king off of the h file. King to g5, I would expect here for black. Maybe white just wants to repeat once and then continue. King g5, king g6 also possible. Maybe white's looking for rook e4. King g5, rook g7 is a thing as well.
I think this will do. Oh, you got the check too. All right, so
Okay,
just,
rook e4.
perhaps here, let me just check the lighting.
This is
Sure I'm happy with that.
very close, but it's hard to
Not gonna be yours.
find the actual
Block the plate.
win. Maybe queen d5 check and take the pawn. Yes, actually queen d5. On queen f5 we have rook e5. Or trades and rook f7 also good. So we're not going to see that. If king comes down we have rook e4. Oh, queen d5 is a very, very nice move. King h6 play, possibly only move. If king here, then rook f7. So he goes king h6, so he could try to block some more checks with the knight. And now the white has a couple moves. Rook f7. Rook f7 might be a very nasty move. Of course, he can take the pawn as well, but I think the pawn is not going somewhere. So rook f7 might be a really killer move. Queen g3 check, rook f3. Black would have to defend the knight somehow, but then white's pieces are getting extremely active, and this feels like it's actually, this is just immediately game over. Check and check. He takes. I think rook f7 might have been. Actually, hold on. Rook f7, queen e3. Queen e3 gives black a lot of checks. Never mind. So he takes. Now the rook is a little bit loose, but if check, king comes back here, he can block with rook e2. Oh, and this is a big pawn to take, because once white takes this pawn off the board, that gives white a very easy winning plan. Now he doesn't have to hunt down the king. He can just advance the b pawn and win the game. So queen f3. He can come down here as well, because queen f6 check is queen e5.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll work for now.
And white is winning this.
I should have had her open that check too, I totally forgot.
So takes queen b3. So he can really put his king anywhere. He goes king c2. I think this also works. Rook maybe can come back to e2. And basically white's just looking for a construction, like rook e2, queen c4, cover all the checks, start pushing the b pawn, b5, and yeah, the knight just can't cope. So this is winning for Matvishyn. This is very much winning, and he definitely has the technique and the skill to convert it. So soon we're gonna see him and Bilal Belassin at the top with 6.5 points. Multiple players on 6 points: Vladimir Kopian, Emilio Cordova, Zhao Jinchao, and international master Sebastian Kostalansky, who's having a great event. He just defeated Tatev Abrahamian in this round. He's got 4 wins and 4 draws. So it's going to be 2 players with 6.5 out of 8. They'll be playing in the final round. Bilal against Victor. And then multiple players with 6 points likely playing each other, hoping to win and catch up to the leaders. Many players on 5.5. They won't be able to tie for first, but they'll still be able to get to a good finish. So folks, we'll be following the last round at 3:30 p.m. Starting at Pacific time. We'll go live a little bit after that because there is a delay on the games, so we won't be live right at 3:30. But yeah, I do want to see a couple more moves in this one, just because it's just nice to see it finish out, and it is board 1. But I think Victor will be able to close it out here. Yeah, he's very likely winning this very soon. Queen comes to c4, pawn comes to b5, and it's game over. ETA, so next round officially starts 80 minutes from now. But yeah, with the delay, we'll be a little bit later than that. So let's see here. Can black still defend this one? It looks really Really tough. Yeah, that'll be on this channel, whether you're watching on the Twitch or the YouTube or the Vegas YouTube channel. Make sure to follow that one as well for more content from the tournament. They've also got an Instagram. Big question is, am I staying up until 4 a.m.? It will be the final round of the Open, and yeah, very decisive. Multiple players fighting for the last win. Okay, 1 minute for black. Folks, I will leave you, drop you the link. I do want to watch a couple more moves here, but for anyone that needs to go, I'll leave the link to the game in the chat, so you can check out the live board. But it's going to be tough. The thing is, for the knight, is just the knight is a short range piece. And so the knight can do a great job of defending the king, or it could try to stop the pawn, but it can't do both. So as soon as the knight starts hopping around, heading over towards the queen side, the king is just empty and gets immediately and viciously attacked. And if the knight stays on g6, then it's going to be very hard to checkmate the king, but white can then pull the queen back and just start running the b pawn. So classic principle of two weaknesses here for white to convert this. If Victor wins, yeah, he'll be playing Bilal in the final round. They haven't played yet. And so, yeah, they're gonna be playing in the final. Okay, knight f4, rook d2 played, covering some squares and looking for rook d6 check, which is gonna be unpleasant. Queen e4 check, king b2. Now no more checks. And white is just continuing here. Now needs to find a square for the queen and then push. It's not so easy. If queen c5, there's knight d3 check. Take, take. So not so easy. Still not so easy, but black also has to find a move. I think he's going to play king g6 just to at least get the king off and try to run the h-pawn. Right, just look for any chances. Okay, queen e3. Still fighting. But now rook d6 check, perhaps. Okay, goes queen c6, forcing the king out. Or if the knight comes back, then again, black's knight is passive and white will have time to start running the b pawn. So I feel like he's going to come out with the king, but where to go? King g5. Oh, he wants queen c5 check. He just wants to trade queens. So this would be immediately over. King g5, queen c5 is GG though, because the rook and pawn is way too strong for the knight. No chances. So king g5, he can't do it. He can't do it. And if king g7, there's rook d7. So he's forced to go back knight g6. Exactly. We figured it out at the same time. He has to go back knight g6. It's the only way to continue the game. But now, of course, white keeps control. White keeps control. Queen c3 also possible, just shutting down all the checks with tempo. I like queen c3 because it also, let's say black drops back here, it also allows for rook h2. And then the king is forced out, and then we have queen c5. So I think this is a forced win now for white. Queen c3 looks really good. Getting ready to get rook h2 check in and forcing the king out into the open. Whew. All right, I want to stick with this game just because it feels like only a couple more moves left. Yeah, rook h2 right away might also be good. If king g5, queen c5 again. If king g7, queen c3. Oh, it's over. Yeah, it's over. Okay, he played queen c3. Maybe missed this idea, rook h2, king g7, queen c3, but this one I think is also good enough. But yeah, I think that endgame was over. That would have been resigns. Just the knight, yeah, just can't fight against the rook in such an open position. So queen c3, queen f4 played, covering rook h2. Now he can push b5 safely. Black still has no checks. If the knight comes out, it's rook d6. So, okay, still some moves. Queen d4 played, also good, forcing the queen back. Queen g3. Now he can push b5 for sure. Really wants the queen trade. Yeah, he's had enough. He's had enough. Did I enjoy being in Italy? Of course. Of course, Italy's beautiful. Lovely food, lovely people. Okay, queen g3. It's not quite over yet, but close. We're close. Yes, Jim, you missed most of it, but this is actually the key game, last round. Penultimate round, last game. Board 1. And White is trying to convert this. If Victor can get it done, he's joining the leaders, 6.5. It'll be him and one other player. Okay, queen back to e3. Now he's got rook h2 check, king g7, queen c7 check perhaps. He doesn't have queen c3 anymore. I think he could have definitely pushed the pawn. Okay, he decides to push now. Now that the knight is pinned, so the knight can no longer jump. Ooh, black has no checks. Actually, he picked a nice moment to push the pawn, because he's getting b5, b6 in no matter what. And then, of course, b7 is a huge threat after that. So king g5. Black just making any move he can find, just getting the king out of the pin so he can at least try to help with the knight. But yeah, now the king, of course, can get attacked as well. Rook d5, rook g2. I think white can just push b6. Just get that pawn to a protected square. But maybe he's going to look for some way to trade queens. If white can trade queens here, then it's over. So rook d5, rook d3, maybe b6. I think b6 would be just kind of the straightforward choice, but of course you never know. Okay, starts with rook d5. Starts with rook d5 check. Kind of asking black to come up, like king g4. You really don't want to go back king h6 where your knight remains pinned. Then white pushes b6, and yeah, you just never have counterplay. But I guess on king g4 there was certainly some issues. Oh, we're almost done. Yeah, the round will be over soon. So queen h2 check. And has he found something? Some way to trade queens? Rook d7 check. It's very, very close. Okay, queen c7 back. I think king h6 black can still play. And then maybe he just wants b6 just to really nurse that pawn home. Oof. It's close. Black is still fighting, just looking for, well, hoping for a blunder. Black doesn't really have any chances anymore, but he's hoping for a blunder. And so this is going to be just looking for any move he can try. I mean, he's in check. I don't think he wants to come out. That doesn't look healthy. King h6 probably. And then is white going b6, or is he... There are some checks, but the king can just start walking up the board and is very safe. Oh, king h6, queen c1 he's found. Oh, very nice. Very nice. That's a killer. That's a killer. King h6, queen c1 is GG. And going to the back rank just looks horrible. Rook d8, so king f6 he might play, but then rook d6. King is still just getting hunted down. King h6, maybe this one is more precise, keeping the king kind of boxed in. Queen c6, rook d7, coming in this way. All right, they're doing an interview here, so I'm gonna try. We're gonna try some ASMR commentary. All right, folks, it's the final 30 seconds of the penultimate round. We're on board 1. Knight e7 played, and now let's see. He's blocked with the knight. This isn't ideal because he's self-pinning. Now white has a lot of moves. Rook e5, rook d7. b6 is possible too, for sure. Yeah, the knight is pinned. I would try to make something like rook e5 work, but then of course white gets some check, or black gets some checks. Oh, queen e5 check. He's traded off the queens. Oh, and it's game over. Queen e5. That's the simplest. That is absolutely the simplest. That's it. Yeah, but there was no defense for black here anymore. I mean, it was over. Takes, king f6. Now white just needs to keep the rook. Rook h5, rook c5. Either way, rook c5 is the most technical because now the b pawn is running up and the knight is not going to be able to stop it. And folks, we might see a resignation here. And there it is. Viktor Matveshin wins penultimate round 8 against Grandmaster Armen Mikhailian, joining the leader Bilal Belassin. They both have 6.5 out of 8 points. They'll be facing each other in the final round. 4 players on 6 points, multiple players on 5.5. Folks, we'll be back here in about an hour and a half or so for the final round. Hopefully we'll see you here. Until then, take care, everybody. Thanks for joining the commentary.